Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens, Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. And this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 750. Hopefully, you guys have had a great day today. In fact, I hope this lady here has had a great day. It's her, of course, her birthday. Truth420. How you doing? You want to tell us how you're doing and where we can find you?
Oh, all right. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you. I guess you can just find me on Instagram. I'm kind of there just to learn stuff. I'm not really pushing much, but I'm definitely there. If you want any stickers, you know where to find me. So yeah, that's it. Truth420, 42 and the letter O. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming and hanging out this evening. What are you smoking on this tonight?
All right, so I know I'm in Humboldt County and I ran out of weed yesterday, but the good thing about that happening is when you want to find it, you can always find it. So my friend Melissa, she's maybe going to come and talk to me for a little bit tonight. She's trimming right now at a place called Mocha around the corner. So she gave me this. It's Blanco. It's just like basically this small style, but it's really good. It's 34% THC, total cannabinoids 35%, and it's what is it? Serious Chem crossed with wedding cake. It's good, really pale. And then also my next door neighbor gave me, I don't know, third quarter pound of smalls off the cuff because he's cool like that. So I'm gonna mix his smalls with this stuff. Wait, I'll do that hand thing I'll do. I've got a couple months of it. You see that? It's pretty pale. You can smell the chem in it. I'm not normally too into sativas, but there it is. That's what I'm smoking. Mix of the two.
Nice. Looks like good. Does the color of the cannabis make any difference to you? At some point, we've been talking lately that the lighter greens have been missing.
That's I think that's a psychological thing because I grew up in Scotland and I started smoking. First, I smoked hash and then I smoked the bunk weed for a long time, like the wet Rasta weed, the Gambian weed, Chinese weed, whatever. And that stuff was always dark and it was always kind of wet. And then when we started getting the good stuff, when we got the skunk and the lights and the hazes and stuff, that was like pale. Well, the skunk was always pale. It was light, like the bubble gum and the blue and stuff. And I just associated like skunk with the good weed. But then skunk just means dank. Like all good weed was skunk when I was growing up. So I just associate it like that. But then again, coincidentally, I seem to like the pale buds. Like I like cheese. I like White Widow. What else? Oh my God, I'm kind of like blanking right now. Obviously like the skunk. Yeah, I don't know. Pale frosty buds seem to like do it for me. But then again, I smoke like darker weed, like top shelf style, and that stuff does it for me too. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever found like pale weed that wasn't potent. Now I think about it. Have you ever seen white weed that wasn't potent? Or am I tripping on that? Oh, my screen's frozen. Screen is frozen. You back? Ooh. All right, you're glitching. I'm on my iPad right now. Can you hear me? I'm gonna put you on my phone. I'm gonna put you on my phone instead of my iPad. Give me a second.
My internet is unusable. Sorry.
Yeah, but it hasn't been doing it. Wait, has your internet been doing it on the last couple shows though? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice. Am I clear to you? Am I okay? Or do I need to reset?
No. You find it. A little bit. Are you?
Okay, I just switched it from my iPad to my phone, and I have a feeling this is going to be better. So let's try this.
Okay, you're sideways.
Am I sideways? Oh shit. Okay, you can tell I'm a rookie at.
Oh,
Shut up. All right.
Green Fingers confirmed it is only me. Green Fingers has confirmed it's only me messing up. Okay. Just as I thought.
Me feel better. Okay. Wait, screen looks funny. Okay, that's better, I think.
So you kind of hinted to it a little bit, but as I step away for a second, grab a lighter. I can't believe I'm so ill prepared this evening. You want to tell us?
Oh, you glitching. What did you say? Do I want to tell you what?
When was the first time that you used or seen cannabis? I stepped away and grabbed a lighter.
First time I used or seen it. Okay, so the day that happened, I knew I was going to remember it forever. I was so happy. I was like, wow, it was up to that. It was literally the best day of my life up to that point. At that point, I felt like it. And so I was 13 and a half. It was just for my 14th birthday. And I lived in this suburb of Edinburgh, the capital city of Scotland. I went to a school in the city. I actually went to an all-girls private school in the city. And I would take a 40-minute bus ride back from the school and then walk 30 minutes from the bus stop to my house. And I lived in this big old country house. And to get there, I had to walk across this housing scheme, which I guess is like our version of the hood or whatever. And being in uniform and also having like a backpack, a gym bag, a hockey stick. I was on the hockey team, an electric guitar and an amp. So I was playing at that point. It was a lot of shit for a little, I was like 5'3", like 100 pounds, whatever. And I'd walk home with this stuff. And then out of the blue, this boy with blue hair and a lip piercing and a tulle hoodie and a chain on his jeans, who I instantly fell in love with, came up and he was like, I'll carry your guitar for you. And he took my guitar, took all my bags and carried it for me. And he started doing this after school almost every day. And then one day after school, he was like, oh, we got some weed. You want to get stoned? I was like, oh, yeah, because I'd already learned a bit about it or whatever, but this is a long story. So anyway, I go home and get changed, drop off my stuff. And then we meet up with his friends from school. And there's like 7 or 8 boys, 7 or 8 girls, big old group of us. Super sunny day. It was like September. Yeah, a couple of months before my birthday. It was like September. And we went to the woods. There was this woods on the other side of the housing scheme called Waterfall in the River-esque. We used to ride our bikes around there. And we went there. And because we were all alternative, we used to get a lot of shit from the schemies. Because like alternative culture was kind of a middle class thing back in the UK. Like the clothing, the t-shirts, the piercings, all that stuff is like expensive. Like poor kids just wore like cheap sports clothes and stuff. So we used to get hated on if we walked alone. Like a lot of the time, like a lot of us got beat up and stuff. So it was like we like walked to the woods. We were in a group. We felt safe, but we wanted to go somewhere where they couldn't find us. So we walked way into the woods. We found this hill. It wasn't like that big. I don't know, like 30 feet, 20 feet. And we like climbed up the vines. All of us climbed up the vines. Boys went first, and they pulled up the girls, and we go up. And then they have this like homemade bong. It's like a water bottle with like a pen pipe in it and like tape and some blue tack. Foil bowl, and we have a lump of soap bar hash, and we take it in turns. It was my first time smoking weed, so I went second last. It was this other girl's second time smoking weed, but she was hella shy, so she went last. Boys went first. A couple of joints were passed around. I had like a blowback off a joint. I don't know if you know what blowbacks are. Did you ever do those when you were growing up? You put the Wait, can you hear me?
Kind of like a shotgun? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know what it's. Wait, what's shotgun?
A shotgun is where you'd kind of put the joint backwards in your mouth and blow it into somebody's mouth, kind of like a power.
It was that, and then there was also they just take a draw and then just blow it into your mouth, and you'd kick but inhale at the same time. So we were all doing that kind of thing, but I didn't get high off that. But when I took the bong hit, I for high. And we'd mix it. I mean, no, this is going to sound super. Mix it with dry. So we'd we'd get a cigarette and then we'd toast the cigarette. We'd like dry it out and then crumble it into a powder. And then we'd mix it with like the sticky hash. And that made like even the sticky hash like suck down into the bowl. Like you pop the whole bowl and go down, blah, blah, blah. So, took my hit. I don't remember coughing. I don't remember it being whatever, but I felt it straight away. Like I blew out all the smoke, and then like I just felt like kind of dizzy, a little static. My mouth went so dry, so dry. My mouth has never been that dry. And then I remember my boyfriend with the blue hair. He was like, "Who's got juice? Who's got juice?" No one had juice. And then I shouldn't probably say this, but he was like, I'll help you. He like spat in my mouth. I know that's kind of gross, but like spat in my mouth for me so he could like help me with my dry mouth because it was that bad. And then eventually we went down the hill. Everything was going like this. It was like seasickness. Like we went down, like I was trying to like get my balance. I was like, oh, and then it was also like kind of intimidating have to climb down this hill because it was steep. We used vines to climb up it. But the boys went down first. They were fine. And that's also where I learned when you're walking downhill to put your feet sideways so you don't slip. Even when it's like wet mud, that trick actually works. If you need to go down like a slippy hill, put your feet sideways and you won't slip. Maybe everyone knows that. I don't know. And then after that, we walked to the park. Everything was still going like this. Super sunny day. And I remember we went to get like juice and candy, and that's about it. I honestly, everything's foggy after that. But it became like every weekend thing, and very quickly became every day. And I've smoked weed every day. Oh no, wait. Well, since every day since I was 16. Like I've smoked weed every day for 19 years.
Right on. So it's fair to say you kind of fell in love with the feeling that you had with cannabis?
Straight away, 100%.
What was it that you enjoyed about it?
Made me laugh. I was very quiet back then. I was very quiet. And weed give me this confidence. Like I was always thinking funny stuff. Like when I was a kid, I hopped from best friend to best friend. And once I figured someone out, I was all about the jokes. It was just like laugh a minute. And like it gave me the confidence to just kind of like say that stuff out loud. And my imagination to come out was really random stuff. And then I just formed some really good friendships as a result of that. It just opened up so many doors and introduced me to a lot of other cool people, a lot of artistic people. Like at ages of like 14 to like 18, probably the best years of my life. Like just everything, like, yeah, so good. So like every day was like something interesting, something fun. And I feel like I owe a lot of that to cannabis. It's for opening those doors, yeah.
I know that most of what you had available to you would probably be hash, correct, at that time? How was the flower scene? Was there flower available?
Oh yeah, it wasn't mostly hash at all. Well, I mean, I wasn't really aware of like the scene, so to speak, until I moved out. I moved out of my parents' place. I was kind of just through like my boyfriends that got the weed. I mean, sometimes I would do the deal, but usually, unless if I was the only one getting it, I would do. Usually, it was through my boyfriends, and hash was just available to us because that's what the kids on the scheme sold. That's what like we called them schemies. That's what like there would be like kids on bicycles and they'd be like selling like their mom and dad's like hash or whatever. Like they'd steal their mom and dad's hash and sell it, and they charge us double or whatever if it was good, and we'd buy it. And it was soap bar. He called it soap bar. Big thick blocks of hash, and it was way cheaper than weed. But the flower scene, it was there. Like our friends, older brothers and sisters, they'd have the good weed. And I don't know if I should say this or not, but my dad's never smoked weed with me, but he had good weed in his stash. And like when we got older, we also had the Rasta weed. I mean, but we smoked the hash back home. But when we went into town a weekend, Saturday, 2:00, Coburn Street, huge group of us would all meet up and we'd put our money together and get our weed and we get our alcohol. And anyway, so there was weed available. There was good weed, and there were strains available. But it also wasn't around frequently. It was kind of who you knew. Nobody wanted to sell the dank to like 13, 14-year-old kids. And the connections that we did have was good enough. We had this guy, Rasta Johnny. I don't think he was he was kind of Jamaican, but the other people after him weren't. They were Gambian, but we still called them Rastas. They were just black boys. Solid. But the stuff they sold us was like stick and stem. But when we did get the good weed from time to time, they called it orange bud. And then when we managed to get weed from like our friends, brothers and sisters, or like whoever, like they met at school, or other people we met just in town. We had the skunk, we had the Northern Lights, had the haze, and then when I met people who grew their own weed, I had one boyfriend who he spent a long time choosing what he wanted to get, and he was going to grow 2 strains. And he got the seeds from the NTC Bank, because Amsterdam's only like a 2-hour flight from Scotland. Very popular bachelorette party destination in the UK. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So he chose Honey Monster and Mastodon. Not huge, like big old rocks, look like dinosaurs. Really, really good. And then I had another partner who grew only Mango Kush. So good. And then I had another friend, I'll just call him SW, and yeah, amazing. Like how I met each of these people was like, it is an amazing, like, to never forget story, like each of them. But then yeah, SW always had White Widow. I think that's what he's growing too. And those are the strains that I became familiar with as like a teenager, early 20s, more than any other ones.
That's a nice selection. So I guess 16 on. So you said you took off with it every day, but I mean, how did it transport? How did it become more into your life as you got older? Say, how was cannabis in your 1920s, or versus 16s?
Well, I had to leave home when I was 6. So yeah, I had my own place when I was 16. I was working nights, and I was at I actually got into I got into university when I was 17 by myself, which was actually a pretty cool thing. But just dealing with that, I needed break times, definitely. And it was already like my social routine. So like music, it was always around. Partners, like, so I mean, wait, what was the question? How much did I smoke weed in my when I was a teenager? You said, how did it become daily? Was that it? Oh, you're glitching. Yeah, you're glitching. I can't hear you.
It would figure today. So I guess what I was asking, how your consumption changed as you got older.
I'm still, sorry, my friend just got here. I'm still way at the beginning, but I'll bring it back to, shall I bring it back to Humboldt soon, and then you can pop on? Okay. You brought some? Yeah, boy. Yeah. All right. My friend just brought me some hydro. It's the runch, right? Yeah. All right. This is the boy that started teaching me how to grow weed. Wait, I need to change the camera. He just came over to say hello for my birthday. He lives 2 blocks away. Wait, I don't think it's not trimmed. Wait. No, never. No. This is his. I'll do the hand thing. You can see it. This is his like hydro ones. It's not trimmed though, but it's dense. Hella sticky. Smells perfect. Wait, maybe this nug's a little less leafy. Ooh. Oh, look, he's got the light shining on it. Again, the pale weed, right? I like the pale style. Thank you. I'll hit you up in like, I don't know, probably like, I'll try and bring it right into subject in like 10 minutes. That's right. Oh, you were just gonna say hey? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay. Oh damn, I was hoping he was gonna come and talk a little bit, but I can just talk about him instead. What's this? Holy shit. Space Jams. Single serving. 10 milligrams. Psh, that's okay though. That's cool. Oh, I should show you. Wait. He's gave me a couple of these too. What is it? Single serving miracle. Vegan, solventless, cosmic. Space Jams. This is actually a local lady. if I'm getting it right, I'm pretty sure Space Jam's not Cosmic. I think Cosmic is the dude. I hope I'm getting this right. Space Jam's this local lady. She like started off super basic. She like rented a kitchen, made her own gummies from scratch with her homies, and now, yeah, she's got a banging little business going on. Made from ice water hash. Ice water hash gummies. That's kind of cool.
Ice water hash is always good. I can't believe my internet is so shitty tonight. I mean, I haven't had this kind of problem in a long time. My deepest apologies.
Those hackers, right? I mean,
yeah.
Is my video?
Yeah, it's great on your end. It's 100% over here. I can't figure it out. So that's awesome. Birthday gifts are always fun.
Yeah, it's all been like literally every gift I've had has been weed today. But that's great because I don't need to spend money on weed. It's good. Yeah, I'm still not growing enough I'm definitely not growing enough for myself yet. But it's like you got to walk before you run. I got the quality, but I've just not even focused on quantity. Like, yeah, not even at all. I've only done like 6 at a time, but I got my perpetual going now. But I'm still very much spending far too much money on weed. It's what it is. And then I got my neighbor though, like, just randomly get a £1/4 pound. He just throws me min rocks all the time too. Like, it's good. It's who you know. It's different when you're not in Utica too. It's kind of the city around here. Like if you're more in the hills, if you're up in Willow Creek, or you're a little bit more like inland a little bit, then you've got more of that on your doorstep. I think it's easier to make friends with your neighbors, and you probably, yeah, it's just there all the time. But this little city, it's for sale.
So your journey obviously starts in Scotland. So where does cannabis and you where step in your journey? I mean, does life take from there?
Wait, where does the what step in my journey? What was that?
Where's the next step in your journey? Where do you and cannabis go from Scotland?
Oh, from Scotland. Oh God. Okay, so we're jumping to like, yeah, we're jumping like, well, I started vacationing here a lot myself in like 2014, and then like each summer, and then I stayed here for like a year, stayed here for a year and a half, and eventually moved here. But that started in Orange County, in like a little surf town just over the border from Long Beach, just over the border there from Belmont Shores. So it was LA County, Orange County, just over the border, right there, a little surf town. It's where my dad's from. Yep. So like in my vacations there, I ended up dating this boy. He like surfed every day. Hardly ever wore shoes. She's kind of like, I mean, that was like cool to me at the time, right? Because it was like super different culture and a lot of fun. And and he sold weed too. He loved the blackberry. He called it the blackberry. But yeah. So I smoked a lot of his weed over here, and then I smoked a lot of dispensary weed. I was, oh my God, I can't even see your video anymore. I don't know if my stream's okay. His weed and then dispensary weed, and then a lot of dispensary weed. I was a Family Tree Collective's #1 customer. I got a couple of them on cell phone, so I could just call them up at night, and they would drive to my house and bring me weed. That was cool. And then like when I was working in Huntington Beach, I was like a hotel maid in a hotel for a while. And then I made friends with a couple of skateboarders there. I used to skateboard when I was in California. Even now I still do it if it's a nice day. Super good exercise. But when I was in Huntington Beach, I used to skate by the beach all the time. So I met a lot of people smoking weed down there too. Tried a lot of different kinds of weed. Tried some really nice sun-grown God's Gift. That is the only weed where I actually had like a trippy, cerebral, like trippy experience. That was cool. Sun-grown, homegrown God's Gift. And then where else? Oh, and Seal Beach too. We had some sun grown there right by the ocean, and it came out great. I don't know what strain it was. But my friend who's no longer with us actually, but yeah, he grew that sun-grown in seal. And then, I mean, do you want me to go through the strains I smoked at the dispensary? Because I had 2 dresser drawers full of packets and jars, but I remember most of them. I remember the ones I bought ounces of, but not the 8s. But I don't know. After that, I had a partner on Catalina Island. We used to go over there and smoke weed, go fishing, watch the sunset, ride golf carts around. We smoked a lot of weed there too. And then we broke up. Super drama, super drama, crazy, like movie action scene, intense. Jesus, break up. And then after that, I almost went back home. And then my friend who I met in Humboldt after a road trip up here with a friend on a previous vacation. We flew to Oakland and drove up from Oakland on that vacation. But yeah, he was like, come up to Humboldt, don't go home. You love weed, come trim. So I came up here and then I trimmed for a few months up a mountain in Honeydew. And then I came back down after I made my first money, got a hotel room, skated around, and then accidentally got roofied with 5 hits of acid. I thought they were cannabis gummies. They were not cannabis gummies. And yeah, so that was intense. And then I abandoned all my shit, was tripping super hard. And I kind of had to start from scratch here. And after that crazy acid trip, yeah, I wasn't really in a good place. So I just wanted to work back a house. So I just started washing dishes. And that's when I found Rasta Jeff's podcast. So when I was washing dishes, and then I also worked nights in a fast food joint. So I would wash dishes like 6 hours, and then I go to the fast food joint 2 a.m., work there 10 a.m., go home, sleep, rinse, wash, repeat 6 days a week. Because I just wanted to stay busy. I just want to keep occupied, you know. I still had my weed. I found my weed. That was a story too. Holy shit! But I had my weed, and yeah. So when I was doing all that, just when I was washing dishes, not in the fast food joint, can't listen to headphones when you're working in fucking fast food, whatever. But when I was watching this, I listened to Rasta Jeff's podcast, and I eventually listened to all the episodes that were available up until that point. And then I listened to the grow tutorial lessons on repeat. And then somehow I just decided I wanted to grow. I knew I wanted to be involved in cannabis. That's why I ended up in Humboldt in the first place. There's so many layers to this town. It's kind of dark side. Legalization killed this place, but that's another topic. So yeah, so I did that for a while, and then I started trimming at this gray black spot for like 6-7 months. Saw some good weed, saw a lot of terrible weed. It's game on game. And then eventually I started working for a white marketplace. That was cool. Trimmed there for like 6 months, got promoted to trim boss for like 6 months. That was really cool. COVID hit, numbers went down. Left that place, went back to restaurant work, and now I'm a cook. And yeah, just kind of like boyfriends over the way, working in restaurants, working in cannabis. There's always weed around. I built up rapport with them. Other trimmers, and obviously they had grower friends. Some of them grew, some of them were intermittent trimmers, some of them were full-time, some of them were out of town, some of them were local, some of them been doing it since they were 10 years old, all kinds of stuff. So it's on the doorstep. And I don't know. I don't really want to leave because the weed's kind of everywhere, but at the same time, it's like kind of isolated up here in the mountains. You know, it's like life used to move really quickly in the city, and up here, it's time goes quickly, but it's very chill. And I don't know, I've managed to age, like I've been here over 5 years. Yeah, and it's just gone in a heartbeat.
Time does go fast. Gail in chat would like to know, what are you sipping on?
Oh, no way. What is up? She's my girl from Edinburgh. She's my friend from Scotland. Yeah, how long have I known you, Gail? Like 10 years, 15 years? How long have I known you? Like 13 years. I don't know. What is up, girl? I hope you got some good weed to smoke on. I hope you're doing good. I'm gonna cry. I feel like I brought my sunglasses in case I cry. So I'm incredibly homesick. I'm incredibly homesick right now. I haven't been back in so long. Gail's gonna be like, she's gonna be the girl I hit up first, I think. So much fun.
she's been here from the beginning, so you know. So
Yeah.
she said,
Oh, perfect hug. She said, thank you for coming, Gail. Don't know why you're awake so late. Fuck. Scotland's 8 hours ahead. 8 hours away. What? I don't even know. My watch is still an hour fast. Oh shit! I'm not gonna cry. Fucking. What time is it? Oh shit! This says 10:15. Which means it's 9:15. Which means 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. It means it's 5:15 a.m. where Gail is. So respect. She's been on this shit since like 4 a.m. She doesn't drink it. We both stopped drinking. Oh, we used to drink. Holy shit, we used to drink, but she doesn't drink now. Gail, you stopped drinking? Hopefully she can hear me.
She can hear you for sure. There's a little bit, there's a 30-second delay before what you say and their reaction. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got some wild stories. Oh, the London trip. We went to London one time. That was the Ted's. And then the Scroobius Pip concert and the Edinburgh Festival. I won't say what for, but she got surrounded. We came out the venue, and I don't know why she did what she did, but it was so funny because she thought she was being sly, and then instantly 8 cops appear out of the bushes and surround her. She gets this like on the spot fight. Oh, priceless. That was funny as fuck.
So what's been some of the best cannabis you've smoked in this journey so far? Where's it been and what was it?
Okay, well, the best is hard to say, but shit. 3 really spring to mind. 3 really spring to mind, and then okay, so the first one that it was like my friend who grows the hydro who grew this once actually. He can talk a little bit, but yeah, he's actually one of my ex-partners. I will say that he's actually one of my ex-partners, and when I was living with them, he taught me how like about NPK and all that stuff. I used to like wash pots and like de-leaf basic stuff like that with them. But yeah, one session he grew THC bomb and Eagle Scout cookies. And he actually paid really good attention to it. All of the time he'd like put the stuff second, but he paid really good attention to this one. And my God, like the frost on it was like gold. It was like actual, like reflective, like shiny gold. And the nose on it. Now I can't remember if it was the THC bomb or the Eagle Scout. I think it was the THC bomb because we harvested them at the same time. One was slightly darker, more purple. I think that was the THC. And that one had killer skunk nose, like motherfucking skunk. It smelled like a dead skunk to the point where this is when I was still working at the fast food joint and washing dishes. Well, I think I was prep cook at this time. I got promoted to prep cook. But yeah, it was still the same like routine. And yeah. So one morning I was finishing up at the fast food joint, and then my Mexican friend Graciela, she started the morning shift, and I was getting ready to. Well, I went into the restroom, like rolled my joint for like the walk home, and yeah, like I went. I think I might have rolled 2. I think I went outside, smoked a joint, then came back. And then, and because I get free coffee, so I think I went in to get my coffee. And anyway, so she was like mopping the restroom. I was like, Graciela, why are you mopping the restroom at 10 o'clock in the morning? She goes, somebody skunk in the restroom. I was like, somebody skunk? And she said that our manager, Nicole, told her that, because we used to get a lot of homeless people in the toilet. It was right next to this place called the Devil's Playground. I'll tell you about that later. It doesn't exist anymore. Full of homeless people. It was like a homeless city. It was fucking insane, but it was right next to that fast food joint, so I had a lot of homeless people. So she thought like some homeless person they got skunked and then like tried to wash themselves off in the toilet, or like tried to get changed in the restroom, or tried to get changed in the restroom, because they literally thought it was a skunk. And they knew I left that place smelling like weed all the time. Like they made jokes about me coming in. They'd be like, at least you smell like the good stuff. There was this other kid that worked there, I would say his name, a super funny kid, but he used to come and smell like bad weed every day. So it's funny, like kind of because of him doing his thing, I got to get away with my thing. But yeah, undeniable skunk. So that was good. And then I only smoked a tiny little bit a tiny little bit of this, but I swear to God, it's probably up there. And you will have heard people on your show talk about this kind of weed before too, but it's outdoor grown weed. And it's when the terroir feeds the plant. You don't need to do anything to it. All right. So it's like these inland spots. I'm kind of like upriver or whatever. And it's when you have the terroir and it's on that perfect gradient. You've got the layers of like forest floor composite. I mean, hundreds of years of it. I mean, the microbial immune system, the buildup, and then the ebb and flow of the water, literally like watering your plants for you, feeding their immune systems. Like, talk about resilience, talk about optimum expression, and also, you know, fish shit, fish microbes, kelp, whatever. All that river stuff is coming. I mean, wait, kelp is saltwater? Is it saltwater algae or seaweed? I'm not too sure about that. But, you know, other kinds of like green material in there contributing to the nutrient source of the stuff growing there. Yeah, that's real Humboldt right there, and that's good stuff. And it looked better than the hydro that blew my mind away. Like, it was like a work of art. And just the way it was growing, and the nugs, same thing again. And it was just breathtaking. I'd say that's probably some of the best. Yeah. Oh, and then the outdoor God's gift when I was in SoCal, but that was because of the effect it had. But I think I also had sunstroke that day, which I think contributed to it. Yeah.
So you seem to be very passionate about cannabis. So what is it necessarily the draw? You know, is it recreational? Is it something medicinal for you? What drives the passion behind the cannabis?
Initially recreationally, very much so. It was like the fun thing to look forward to. And then, like I said, it just became part of like my routine when I was like kind of on my feet a lot, studying, working, that kind of thing. It kind of like became like just part of my rest. And then, like I said, I moved out when I was 16. I went to university when I was 17. I was doing some crazy stuff when I was a teenager, lots of stuff. And then it just kind of balanced out. Like I will admit, I did go like through a pretty big coke phase in like my late teens. I was going out with them. Very interesting character. I had a very interesting job at the time. Met some very interesting people. I made some very good money. Because I used to have this philosophy, like, live every day like it's a movie, like you're in a movie, you know, because when the shit gets tough, you come up with like a rad solution and you keep trucking. And when shit's good, like you bask in it and you maximize the moment. So I always tried to do that no matter what. And whatever happened, like I've been, you know, a lot of stuff, been on the move a lot. And also like in my early 20s, I mean, also the music scene. Everybody smokes weed afterwards. And then I was into, I was into like, I used to party a lot too. I was big into music scene. I was big into electronic music. I was big into drum and bass, funky house, techno, some trance, not so much trance, but like a lot of stuff like that. We used to go out. We had friends who DJs. I was in a 5-year relationship with a dubstep and jungle DJ. So all this kind of stuff, it just went, you know, like we'd stay up for like 2-3 nights in a row. We'd go out 6 nights a week. But guess what happened? Like after the show, the after party, like, you know, where's the weed at? Everyone wanted to chill. Everyone wanted to eat. Everyone wanted to catch some Z's. So it was kind of there, but also like come from a very small family. And I will say like mental illness is kind of prevalent. Stress induced, I would say, more than anything. But I do have a condition, and I don't want to talk about that too much, but I will talk about the symptoms, and I will talk about how weed has helped and how I realized it was medicinal when I did have episodes. And then it took a long time for me to finally get the medication that I needed to stop me basically resetting my life every fucking 6 months, because shit would just go dark. And so weed was always there. It was always my friend. And it was weird. I would like prioritize it over fucking food a lot of the time, just because it gave me that peace of mind that I needed to go to work, to be social, to eat, to sleep, to basically self-care. So like in my early 20s, it definitely did become medicinal. It was funny though, like I never really changed my mind. It's always been an 8 a day, an 8 a day, an 8 a day, an 8 a day forever. It was like that from the age of like 16 up. It's like that now. That's the right dose. And I also know it's medicinal too because I mean, other than the fact it's allowed me to just like live like a normal human being, is that oh shit, what was I gonna say? Oh fuck, I forgot what I was talking
Cheers,
about.
it's the 20. Would you like to stop, take a little break?
Oh,
Take a puff?
yes. I've been rolling one joint this whole time as I keep looking down. I can't find my grinder, so I'm like picking it apart with my fingers right now. But yes, let's take a break.
What you rolling up is that something was brought, or is that something you already showed?
Fuck it. You just reminded me I've got a few more kinds. I might make a cocktail joint, but right now I just got the smalls and I got the Blanco. This is what I'm smoking right now. Wait, that's not the Blanco. I don't know where it's going now. Oh, there it is. It's the same color as my laptop, this stuff. Oh God, I think I put way too much of it in. Oh no, there it is. This stuff, yeah. Blanco. And then just random dried out smalls. I think they were going to get made into concentrates. That's the stuff he just hooked me up with this. So yep, blended those two. I might put some runs in it now though that I got the runs.
Yeah, you got to be smoking. I can't be the only one smoking here.
Yeah. Wait, I got to put my I usually smoke outside because I smoke so much. I hate my clothes smelling like smoke, but I'm just smoking here. Birthday rules, yay! But I got to put my outtake fan on 1 second. All right. Do you use a crutch in your joints?
I do not. I see the head shake. Why the head shake there?
I thought you might be on my team. I thought you might have been on the crutch team. That's okay. That's okay.
Good to the last drop, you know.
No, it's opposite.
No, you think it's
opposite. You put a crutch in that, you smoke it straight to the card. You don't put a crutch. You got the sticky on the finger, you got the sticky on the lip, and you got a pinch of it left in the ashtray. So
I'll go back for them pinches though. That's old school. I always smoke my roaches. I've taken a lot of shit over that over the years. There was a period in my life where I didn't smoke the roaches and I accumulated fucking bags and jars and fucking it just felt wrong. Just felt wrong and wasteful for when I used to always smoke those fuckers. So yeah, I still.
What's that?
You said you couldn't find your grinder?
You just thank you, Chris. Yeah. You guys are the best. I appreciate you too. Are you watching it too? Oh, my friend Melissa's here and her boyfriend's here. And he just brought me his grinder because they're watching in their room too. And he heard I didn't have a grinder, so it's a bit late. That way.
Nice.
No.
Squiggle cat.
Yeah. Tino Fino. He likes music a lot. Very musical cat. It's a trip watching him. It's very entertaining. He loves music. Super funny.
Right on. You have a few in chat there saying you've started in chat. I don't smoke them roaches.
Wait, what's that? What they saying?
Yeah, they're picking teams in there in chat now. I'm one, you're one.
There's not many girls. I mean, if you're a lady too, like if it burns your lip, it makes your fingers smell terrible. If you put a long crutch in there too, like your fingers ain't smelling like dirty, like ashtray weed too. And then there's so many reasons. And it helps create a vacuum too. You roll a really nice cone with the crutch because you got that solid pinch right there. And then you put a little zigzag in the middle, like you fold it and then you rip it back on itself, and then you rip it around that, so you get that S bend in the middle, and then it stops you getting anything on your lip. I freaking hate that shit. I hate getting weed in my teeth. I hate getting weed on my lips. I hate that. And then I hate lip burn. I hate getting smoke in my eye. When it's too close, that shit goes in my eyes, and that burns too. Like, there's just like a fucking plethora of reasons. Sorry, I shouldn't curse so much. I curse when I get excited. There is a plethora of reasons.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do get.
I'll fight you on this till the end of time.
You know, at one point I did try the glass filters, both the ones you could roll in the joint, and both more like the old like cigarette style where you could like tuck them inside and have the glass filters. And I'll give you this much on the crust, no crust issue. Anything with a tip seems to hold its flavor a little bit better. I found there's just something about the pinching of the tip and actually getting that little bit of the cannabis wet that seems to kind of hinder the flavor a little bit, to where a tip joint seems to retain its flavor a little bit better from, I don't know, things not gumming up as much in the end there. So
yeah, that could be to do with the airflow. Like I was saying, it helps create that vacuum, and you're not squishing it. So it's like, if you think about it, right, it's this, because like when you first light a joint, that stuff's not being smoked, right? So it's not all smoky flavored. It's like fresh. The smoke travels from the engine. It's like fresh. But as it goes down and down, all this stuff has had smoke pass through it before, right? So like when you're burning it, as it gets closer down, you're burning like that smoky weed. When you're pinching it, especially if it's a sticky stuff, then it's like, it just enhances that. I mean, I know it's not like ashtray, but it's just, that's what I call it, like that burnt weed smell. You know, like you can smell it when you put out a joint, you put it in your pocket. It's like that dirty kind of burnt smell. It doesn't smell like fresh weed anymore. I don't like relighting joints either. I really don't like relighting joints. I'll do it. I don't like it. Kind of wasteful too. You have to put it out, stub it out, light it again. You waste a little bit.
I think temperature has a lot to do with that. As you know, it's burning down and everything's warm. The buzz necessarily changes a little bit the further down it goes. And when you grab that one that you put out and lit again, it's not just flavor. I think the buzz gets completely different because those oils that's built up on the cannabis have now kind of cooled back down and changed a molecular form. And now it's become maybe more, well, there's no maybe, it's more towards the end side of things and more sedative because of the cool. It's worked its way further through the molecule chain.
That molecule. No, that's super interesting. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I think super interesting that. Wait, so temperature changes the molecular structure of the weed as you smoke it, and therefore makes it a more sedative high.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the difference in your choice of implement. Say like the bong, the way it kind of hits you a little bit different from a joint. All can be the same type of weed, you know, but the way you smoke it from a spoon to a bong to a joint all have different effects. And I think that sway is temperature.
That's super interesting. And that does make sense too, because like I love gravity bongs. Like I can't really take bongs anymore because the burn. Even with pipes, I have opinions on pipes too. I'm not a big fan. Or if I do like pipes, like the long ones again, that's probably because like the smoke has longer to travel. It is chilled. But so when I take like gravity bongs or buckets or whatever, it's like I get crazy high, like insane high for like 15-20 minutes, like high school high, super silly, almost cross-eyed, super giggly, stumble across my words, and then it fades out into a normal thing. But I mean, I still cough, but it's like that. That's like that tickle. It's like that dab cough. It's not that chest burn, you know? And I find those way more palatable. I think it's because of the way it chills the smoke, like you say, and because it's that it builds up, it gets thick, and then it's like one hit. Damn, like it hits you. But that's why I like spliffs, is because it's literally the slowest way to smoke weed. I find it the most meditative. That's the way I like smoke it. the most. But I enjoy gravity bongs too. But it's definitely a different high, super different high, depending on how you smoke it. 100%. Same weed, very different high.
Right on. Which kind of leads us back to our conversation a little bit there. The medical side of cannabis, I think that's why we all consume it is, to just make us feel better, ground us back out. And, through a conversation I had with Hota Herb one time, we're all quick to think that we build up a tolerance to what we smoke. And I always kind of, since my conversation with him, I more or less think it's the way we consume. You know what I mean? When we find that our cannabis, or we've grown a tolerance to it, we're in the same place doing the same thing over and over and over. It's more like repetitive, consumption, to where we should kind of stop, take a break, leave the environment, smoke, and go back at it. You know what I mean? It's kind of when you smoke one and you hit that store, and you know what I mean? You've changed environments, a lie that's hit you, and you go, holy fuck. I didn't realize I was this high before I came in the store. Same. It's all environmental change, not necessarily repetitive consumption, I think. I don't know.
When you say environmental change, are you also talking about in the context of like a tolerance break?
No, just like if you're usually smoking in the house all the time, and then, you know what I mean, go outside and smoke that junk. And then come back in, and then I think it'll have a greater impact on, you know what I mean? Like
when you've been sitting down for like 4 hours, passing around, and then you suddenly stand up and go outside, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Fresh, the air smells fresh, and you suddenly realize you're a little bit dizzy, and everything's kind of funny. Yeah, I feel that. It's funny you bring that up in terms of the medicinal thing too. Like, I feel like people who end up using it medicinally are usually those people that find an affinity with it the first time they smoke. Like they remember it, makes that change, like they can feel it. Or maybe they find it at a point of crisis in their life where they're seeking some kind of medicinal relief, and then they find it, and it's like, wow, there it is, And when it comes like repeat consumption too, like I think that's also maybe where you can differentiate between recreational and medicinal, because I hear people talk a lot about, I like to change up what I smoke every couple of weeks. I like to change my strain every couple of weeks, And like I smoke nothing but Gorilla Glue. Same cut for 2 years. I smoked White Widow every day for a year and a half. I smoked Michael Kush every day for over 6 months. And they never stopped providing me the relief that I needed. So it is what it is. Like, I feel like it's more recreational when it's like, I want to try this one and try this one. This one makes me feel that way. That's more playful. That's more fun. I mean, when you do find a strain that helps you like that, like I guess it is good to try other stuff too. Other stuff with similar terpene profiles, just for kicks too. And another differential I find between recreational smokers and medicinal smokers is medicinal smokers tend to smoke so they can get shit done. And I've said this in chat before when it's come up a couple times actually over the years. And that is that medicinal people smoke weed to get shit done, and recreational people smoke weed until they can't get shit done, And I do both. But to an extent, when I find like sedation and sleep is also medicinal, but that's when I smoke out, like at the end of the night. That's when I smoke the most. And so that to an extent is recreational. I could go to the gym, tire myself out physically. I could eat like a right meal. I could drink a sedative tea. I could take other herbal supplements and then smoke one joint. But I choose to just, at this point in my life, I still just smoke the shit out of weed at night, and it does what I need it to do.
I kind of really respect that definition, or dividing line, medical, you're smoking to get things done, and basically recreational, you're smoking till you can't get things done. I've never heard it put like that, but it's pretty right on the nose.
I think so.
Yeah. So, has it helped? I mean, throughout, obviously, we've talked about that, you were cannabis was helping you through the other things in your life. So at one point, did you kind of realize that was the road, that was the ticket? You know what I mean?
That was the road, that was the ticket. Do you mean in terms of like accepting it as like part of my life and embracing it rather than it being like this bad habit that I kind of did just to get by kind of thing?
Yeah, the embrace. When did you start to embrace it and go, this is what I want, this is my medicine, this is what I want to do, this is, this is where I'm going to spend my life at, you know what I mean? Or running towards, or in my dream. Go ahead.
California, I mean, started coming to California 100%. Because everybody did it. Beach life, everybody's blazing. Everyone and their grandma and their dog walker, and and it's super nice and it's right there. And then, when everyone's doing it, like sometimes it's a prerequisite on like an apartment application over here, must be 420, okay. I've literally had bosses that I've given weed and they've given me weed back. I've had bosses that have said, hey, you need to go smoke some weed. Come back in 10 minutes, Never had that kind of support anywhere before. Always, I was like, I kind of felt bad about being the girl that always smelled like weed. I didn't use grinders because they fall apart in my handbag, and then like everyone could smell the weed, and then it'd get in my makeup bag, or whatever, and it'd be like a mess. Same with pipes too. Like they were super inconvenient. They'd always be a mess. That's why I've always just smoked joints every day, because they're like, you just roll them up, it's gone. Roll them up, it's gone. But yeah, so I always had like weed under my fingernails or whatever, and it's just like, I don't know. It was still kind of like a dirty habit. It's still kind of like, also like my parents never really approved of it. They're slowly softening up now. God, it's been long enough, but it was always kind of like, it wasn't something I was ever proud of, until I came to Cali and it became, but like saying that, I mean, that's in terms when I'm like analyzing myself in terms of like lifestyle, living my best life, responsibility, trying to achieve goals and getting things done, and always being told like weed affects your short-term memory, or it's just a bad thing, it makes you lazy, all this kind of stuff. So like I was kind of hard on myself for a long time, and then over here when like all this information was available too because it was legal, I guess that's when I started to embrace it as like a positive thing, and everything's kind of come around full circle now. It's like it's almost respectable now, especially because there is so much information about it. There is so much good science out there. Shows like the cool thing about your show and the information you can get from it is it's kind of like that stepping stone between information or data and opinions and actual experience, which you can't fake. Your show provides those one like super deep, like and all that experience. And that's another thing I liked about your show too, is because I think I told you this too, and when I talk to other people about your show, like people that I've eventually become friends with, I'll say it's kind of like, it's like being at your dealer's house without them trying to put their hand on your leg. You know what I mean? Like I've had offers to grow in the past in Scotland. I had people say, "Oh, I'll teach you how to grow," but the condition was, "Oh, move in with me. You can like stay with me." And it was always like and I guess that's like the kind of male-female relationships, like it's friendship up into a point, and then obviously it has to like go somewhere. So that was frustrating. So I never really learned to grow myself back then. But then having like I said, Rasta Jeff's podcast, Cheap Home Grows, your show. I don't even know how they popped up in my YouTube algorithm. I don't even know, but I'm so glad they did. I feel like I've been able to access the knowledge that I kind of always wanted to. And it's kind of, it's kind of, I know it's kind of a thing that like I didn't have that information 15 years ago. That would have been great, but I have it now. But at this point, I really just want to grow. I'm still just want to be able to grow enough to smoke. And I think I literally am able to. I'm just not doing it yet. But I can't remember where I was going with that.
So, did you ever think you'd be growing? I mean, from the first time you smoked cannabis, I mean, was it just Cali when you got here in the States in Cali that they actually want to grow, or the dream to grow started? I mean, as a kid, it wasn't much into smoking. First High Time magazine you ever touched and shit. You think, oh my God, I want to do that someday, or I wish I could do that someday. But when did the very first thought of kind of growing come into play?
Well, the very first thought was when I found a seed in a bag of Rasta weed, and I planted it, the cup. I don't know if I was 14 or 15, and I just grew it on my windowsill. And when I got to that big, Mom was pissed, threw it away, but it grew. I guess that's the first.
Right. Well, that counts most definitely.
Okay, so like technically I've been growing for actually like 20 years and not just 2. No. Actually, wait, no, that's terrible, because I should definitely not be where I'm at if I've been doing this for 20. But let's not say that. Let's definitely not say that.
So what was the first thing that you decided to grow? I mean, did you watch a bunch of stuff and read? I mean, before you even attempt, or did you kind of take the stumble and fall kind of approach and kind of push your way through?
When you talking about my first grow by myself, my first grow?
Yeah.
Well, I listened to these shows that I already mentioned for how many years? 3.5 years before I started growing. And I listened to them all with the absolute intention of growing my own weed. So I got the pregame. Wait, what was the question? Shit, I forgot again. I had something else to say. What was the question? When did I decide I wanted to start growing?
That was the initial question, but yeah, I was asking about did you kind of just decide to dive in the first one?
No.
Ball, or did you spend a bunch of time researching? And I guess since I've thought about that, I had an opportunity to think about the question a little bit and kind of rephrase it a little bit. Is how is the information, as somebody that does this, how is the information that you're sourcing out there? When I came up, I see a difference, to be honest with you, through the YouTube era of the beginnings of YouTube and stuff. There was more, directional videos. All right, today I'm going to talk about cloning, or you know what I mean? This is my cloning method. You know what I mean? Instead of the conversation. How is the source cannabis information out there? There's a lot of shows, a lot of conversation, but how, if you were a new grower, how is it? Is it, how is source information today, I guess?
I've thought about this a lot. Before. And honestly, it's like any other area of information, any other area of information available on the internet, and that is check your sources. And the best way to do that, if you're new to something or something you don't know, is just whatever you think you just learned, like look to like as many different sources as you can. Hear as many different opinions, many different sources, and eventually you can cross-reference, and then you can pick apart bullshit from the science. You know what I mean? And if I was to talk to a new grower, and I've done this, I've talked to like new growers, and I absolutely recommend it, because I only know what I know. I only have my opinions on the matter, and that doesn't mean I'm right or there's only one way, but I know what I know, and I would totally just recommend the way that I chose to do it, and that was listening to Rasta Jeff as a starting point. Rasta Jeff of Irie Genetics, the Grow From Your Heart podcast, particularly now because it's all free, it's all available, it's all on YouTube. I hope he stays on YouTube. I know he's been dealing with some shit recently. I really hope he stays on YouTube, and I don't really care about Discord, but I hope he stays on all his platforms anyway. Well, he's actually organized his videos into grow tutorials, and he's numbered them. There's like a cloning tutorial. There's like a lighting tutorial. There's like all this other stuff, and it's itemized, and he goes into so much detail. And he usually I don't know, always. It's actually been a while since I listened to the show. I've just watched a couple of his premieres on YouTube, but I haven't actually sorted out other than the cloning one when I recently kind of just cloning my own properly for the first time. But it's such a great initial point of reference. High quality, essentially non-biased, and really fact-checkable. And then, yeah, that's where I go. I like the cheap home grows because of the Q&A. I like it when they have a varied panel. I liked it a lot when Brandon Rust was on it. I mean, I started listening to that show 2020. And then, I mean, after that too, and Jack Greenstock's really good too, the way he is good at like, he literally like checks stuff as he goes. He provides opinion. And he's kind of like white market, but you know, it's good to have like opinions that represent like all demographics. I mean, I don't even want to say that. I shouldn't even talk about that. He does some good stuff like that. Everyone's doing like their own thing, but like having all these different viewpoints, opinions. Like Dr. Coco does his thing. He's like got the science nerd thing going on, and who else is there? Taz. He's a lot of fun to listen to. He's got a great radio voice. He's got really good information too. Who else? Oh, fuck, Matthew Gates. Yep, the bug guy. Solid information. Yeah, and because he's actually published too, like very well-spoken, well-worded, precise, which is good. Because a lot of us, and myself included, use cursing a little bit too much to express ourselves, which is kind of unfortunate because often we use cursing at times when like we're in particularly emotive or sensitive situations where it is actually even the most important times to be articulate, to express yourself accurately, but instead, you know, we curse, which is kind of like it is what it is. But, you know, when I'm talking about this kind of shit, or like I do this, or like fuck this, or like just, you know, move it, like whatever, it's like, it's hard to really tell like specifically what people are talking about. Sometimes there's a visualized thing, and that's when your show is good because it's like people with their journeys, their experience, their opinions, and you see it for what it is, and it's very honest, and they talk about what works for them. And all your shows, I mean, it's great about your shows is you can find people that you like identify with, or your style of growing, or that are totally different to your style of growing, and the way everything interrelates. And I honestly feel like the variety of sources provided, just those three shows alone, is good enough. I mean, my first grow was great. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to like say that, whatever. I mean, but it was, in my mind, I was happy with it. And I have pretty self-critical high standards, and I was probably over attentive to it, and my yield wasn't great, but I got like just over an ounce per plant. But the quality was definitely there. It was very pretty, very strong. And I did leave the plants alone because I just want to watch them. I let them get crazy tall. They were like over 5 feet. And God, I don't think they were quite 6 feet. But I didn't do any topping. I didn't do any like manipulation because I just wanted to watch them grow and figure out what they were doing first, you know? So I did that. And I did very little defoliation too. Like it took me a while to even feel okay about taking stuff off the plant. I was like, why don't we just let it do what it wants? Leave that shit on. But then obviously now there's lots of reasons, practical reasons why we do that. And I definitely do that a lot more now. I'm even surprised some of those leaves lasted that long. Like they were on those plants for so long. You know, it's so big, so thick, so green. I remember the first time I saw leaf deterioration, it was purely just due to age. It was an old ass leaf. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It was just time for it to like come off or whatever. And then I thought it was like a pest situation. And I actually oversprayed my first grow too. I oversprayed, and I got like organic preventatives. And as soon as I thought I had the pest problem, I sprayed, alternated between Dr. Syme's Lost Coast and neem. I think I did no, I didn't do a soil drench. That was my second go. I did that, but I think I like overdid it, and it was really, oh god, because there were so many leaves. It was like a jungle in there. It was only in a 4x4, but it took me like it took me way too long, like over half an hour to just like preventative. I'd go in there with like my green light. There were so many leaves. And I'd try to get every little underside, every little bit of branch, and like touch it, like massage it to make sure it interacted with the surface. all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so whatever. And I sprayed into flower on that. I sprayed into week 3 on the flower. And I know that's a huge no-no. But I source checked and I checked the products that I was using. I didn't, of course, use the neem. I did use the Dr. Symes, and I used the Lost Coast twice. I know it's kind of naughty. It's got the peppermint. I think, does it have rosemary extract in it too? I'm not sure. Does it have tea tree in it? I'm not sure. But I know it's got the peppermint. And I know you don't want to be spraying that in your buds, whatever, but it says okay to use until the end of flower. And I did stop at like week 3, and I felt like it was necessary at the time. And
So-
I agree. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna ask, what out of the plant, what most intrigues you of it? Is it necessarily the high? What currently do you find intriguing about the plant? Is it the way it grows, the effects? What's, if you're gonna pick up a book that, you know what I mean? What angle are you gonna take with it?
Oh God, just one. Honestly, there's several, but right now at this point in time, there's several things. Oh God, one. See, the thing is, I can think of one that I'm definitely interested in, but it's definitely not the most interesting one, and I kind of want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Probably just the evolution of terpene profiles in the plant and the effect isolated terpenes have on brain chemistry in terms of, because we know about terpenes in terms of ingestion through the stomach, through fruits, vegetables, essential oils, whatever, that kind of thing, topically. But when it comes to smoking and ingesting, when you smoke, it's through your nasal passages too, just straight through the brain. It's going up as you breathe in, it goes up, it feels like down into your lungs to an extent. And it's just the way, like, it's almost like brain nutrition. And that is kind of interesting to me, the way terpene profiles affect different people differently. And of course, like, everyone's brain is so different. And when it comes to, of course, like, dealing with your own like mental health problems, a lot of the journey is just trying to figure yourself out, and then cognitive behavior therapy, and then trying to be the best you, and all these other layers of stuff too. So just like the fine tuning of that, and then the evolution of how the plant even came able to hold so much such a spectrum of medicinally beneficial terpenes, because when people talk about evolution, I always feel like environment precurses the reaction, right? The reception of it, the CBD receptor site, the mind, and whatever other parts of the brain or the body or whatever evolve. It's an adaptation to the environment, based on your physical and genetic ability. So in my mind, but when we trace it back, it's like, oh, weed's only been around for this long. But if our brains literally, okay, I got it. Okay, I'm probably going too far with this, but I was about to go down a tangent that I just checked myself on that I knew was inaccurate, because that opens up this other thought that I have, which is in the same subject realm. It's basically the same point of intrigue as you kind of asked about, I just specified in your question. But that's the way that, like, terpene profiles, like the way that we've evolved to have like the CBD receptor sites in our mind. Like, okay, so what if they say we only use 10% of our brain, and so many species have gone extinct? We're seeing all kinds of stuff extinct going so fast right now. But think about how many things that have gone slowly extinct over time too. Plants. It's an extremely interesting and medicinal plant, yes, but think how many other probably medicinal nursing plants there were in existence that provided other terpene profiles, that we probably have other sites of reception in our brains that just haven't been lit up because we haven't been exposed to those medicinal plants that perhaps we evolved around too. So, God, imagine like the medicinal benefit of those plants. But so that's interesting to me. But I feel like also we've managed to hold on to this plant in particular because, thank God, because of people growing it. After it's been bad, after we're not supposed to be growing it, it's because we want to smoke it. Like, it's the stoners that have kept this plant going, and it's a really exciting thing. So yeah, terpene stuff basically. It's where I'm at right now. But there's so much other stuff too, like immune system. God, the immune system of plants, that's super interesting because the health of the immune system of plant affects our immune system directly. It's how our immune system stays healthy. So, and there's like none in monocropped mass farm big ag. Crazy.
That's one of the reasons I asked right there, because there's your passion for cannabis. It does run deep, and I think your intellect about the entire plant, speaks volumes. Not just your grow ability or where you think you're at in the beginner grower scale, whatever, but and there's so many things, so many angles to be utilized in cannabis. And I think that that's an excellent area. Fascinating. Terpenes, transcend not just the cannabis but to a lot of other things. Cannabis isn't the only plant that produces terpenes. We utilize essential oils for a lot of different reasons. So do you think that when it comes to terpenes and terpenes profile, is it necessarily something that plays on our senses, our nose, or how do the terpenes affect us once we've ingested them or ate them? Is that a completely different, ball?
Oh, okay. So wait, okay. So you've got like terpenes, terpenoids, and cannabinoids, right? So you smell them. What is smell and taste anyway? It's your senses picking up on particles, sending messages to your brain, and then that precursing thoughts on it, right? So it's like, oh wait, shit. What was the question? Something about the nose. Something about terpenes. Oh, like what? You were like, what?
What's the effect difference between actually breathing in terpenes and then,
okay.
us like that versus when we ingest them? I guess was the question.
The question. Okay, as opposed to like consuming them through food. Is that what you mean? What's the difference between smoking it compared to ingesting it?
Well, either just breathing it in, or
okay,
eating the terpenes. Because like say Bergoli, for instance, he makes terpene cookies. He's got a lime cookie that's amazing. That you can taste the lime from the cannabis quite a bit. So how does, obviously when I smell it, it has its effect. So, but when I eat it like that, can take it in like that, what's the difference in effect? Is it, how does that terpene play in the, edible form?
Okay, so there's like a few elements to it, and one is the way so just like specifically like the reaction your body has to things when it absorbs things through the digestive tract as opposed to lung tissue. It's like when you I read this book. I read it a couple of times. I need to read it again. There's too much in it. Smoke Signals by, is it Martin Lee, Ian Lee? I always get Ian Harper mixed up. The guy who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I always get mixed up. Martin Lee. Shit. I put the book right here. That's right. Smoke Signals by Martin Lee. And he talks about when you consume cannabis, your liver breaks it down into 7 different compounds that are not created in your system when smoked. And that's why the high is very different. And also when you have something that enters like your bloodstream, again, to the stomach lining, it's going to be in your system way longer. It's going to be in your veins for longer than it is just in your lung tissue. It's going to have, temporary surface area exposure and ingestion, and then it's going to essentially go out of your system, and any effect is residual in terms of like brain chemistry effect, which is the high. So when when you ingest it through your lungs, it's like straight to the brain signal. It's not through your gut signal. It's not through your liver. It's not through the bloodstream. And then eventually it gets there, and it's an injunction with an overall body high, straight to the dome. Yep, that's the difference. But we shouldn't. But if we're talking about that effect, we should also not just talk about like terpenes, like all the other like cannabinoids involved too. There's entourage effect, etc. Not just the terps. And when it comes to like taste and smell, like you were talking about, I mean, that's I mean, in nature, that's what tells us what stuff is. That's how we know what's good and bad for us. That's what we know is medicine. That's how we know what's nutrition. That's how we know what's toxic. And then we build memories on that. And then we convey that information to our tribe. And then we create a lot of this based on what's available in the environment, or we avoid that, what's available in the environment. Was told by a pretty good source one time that when something poisonous grows in nature, the antidote usually is available within feet of it. God, I don't know where I was going with that. I've forgotten shit. Someone about oh yeah, so like in our natural environment. So yeah, taste, smell, sight, sound, touch, five senses. That's literally the communication channel between you and your environment. So, and also taste and smell are so related to memory. You know, when you smell that perfume of someone you used to know, or the baked cookies thing, or you know, if you've ever had to live in a place that's had like a rat infestation, like if you've had to live in a place with rats, like you will remember that smell for the rest of your life. If you ever been around, like Coot said one time, when you've been around high grade heroin, you remember that smell for the rest of your life. When you're around this skunky funky weed, you remember that smell. And then your memories and your feelings and your associations, and in effect your latter actions are based on those associative memories. What's positive, what's not? What do I want to pursue thought wise, what do I not? So it's like a psychological benefit, and it's a brain chemistry benefit. But isn't it interesting if you think about it? It's almost like brain food, isn't it? Like when it comes to like, is it anthocyanin was the one I got really into a while when I was growing some of this slurricane cross that I've got going on right now, the Slurry3. It has like that nice lilac flick, that pink flick in the center, right? And that's anthocyanin, which is the terpene in nature, the compound in nature that turns everything from blue to red. Blueberries, red berries. Red's also like the danger sign. It's also the sign of toxic mushrooms, toxic berries, like spiders that'll kill you. And then it's also like good stuff pretending to be toxic. It's a defense mechanism. But again, it's like the sight and taste thing. It's informative. That's how you remember what's in things and like what things are. But yeah, is it anthocyanin thing? Like but it's super prevalent in like blueberries. Like that's why blueberries like a superfood. And it's like effective. It's actually a very effective treatment for Alzheimer's. It's good for like bipolar. It's just very, I can't remember like the specifics of it at all, but it's got a very beneficial effect on pretty intense like psychological conditions. And I was super into reading about it. I was like super fascinated by it, and I geeked up in it for a while. And then I worked my way around, and I was like, wow, so eating a handful of blueberries is more is just as nutritious as like smoking some of it. And then we've just had this conversation. I just thought, maybe I just disproved myself, because actually, like I just said, it's straight to the brain. It's different reactions. It creates and triggers different reactions. Probably relates to you physically in different ways too, because when you're consuming it, you don't already have that body high, right? So maybe your brain like decides where it wants to send. I mean, because a lot of people, because it goes to the brain first, and then because it triggers pain reception. God, oh my God, there's so much I could talk about this too. I'm trying to stay on subject. So a lot of people find that when they have a particular medical condition or they take cannabis, right, it seems to go straight to that particular area. And I wonder if that's because it goes to the brain. They see that part of the they see the receptors lit up, right? The cannabinoid receptors lit up. And maybe I wonder if because it targets pain, it seems like, and it's also been proven to target unhealthy cells in the body, particularly. It's almost like the brain's sending it where to go, which is actually a cool thing. And I wonder if that's related to oh shit, I forgot what we were talking about there. Whatever we were just talking about, I'll remember later.
So can we use food to direct could we be using food to kind of direct where we want to go with our cannabis? As you kind of pointed out, if you wanted that blueberry effect, you'd be almost better off eating the blueberries. I mean, could you pair food and kind of take it the direction you want to be?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought at first. And then I was like, no, it's not, because it's a brain reaction and then a targeted physical response, rather than it being ingested as a full-on body response, and also broken down into different compounds that provide that different high. But I did think that, but I do think nutrition is huge, and that directly affects brain chemistry, endorphins, positivity, clarity of thought, all of this stuff that affects everything in your life. Attitude and perspective is everything. And also, like, your immune system is hugely in your gut. Gut health, microbial health of the gut is like huge, and it has a profound direct reflect on mental health. And that's why cognitive behavioral is so effective. Cognitive behavioral health therapy is so effective when you have challenges in the way you think. And but it's like, I think it could be complementary, but I don't think it's the same. And I also think, like, smoking something is also a pretty valid, like, method of ingestion, because humans were definitely evolved around the use of fire. We use fire in, like, several ways in the travel context, and I could talk about that forever too. I'm not going to talk about that now, but, like, our lung tissue is developed to deal with smoke in, like, small doses. And sacred cultures, rituals, all kinds of, like, medicinal and sacred contexts use smoking as a huge part of their culture. So then there's that. But I mean, I recently watched this this seminar by a doctor was it Dr. Carl? I think it was. It was specifically on terpenes. He's like some kind of professor at some kind of cannabis medicinal institute. He's pretty, like, respected and pretty well read in his field, and he talked about a test that was done on compared myrcene, beta caryophyllene, and morphine and pain sensitivity tests in mice, and they gauged it in terms of, like, paw thickness and heat sensitivity, like when the mice were able to feel pain and how long it took them to feel that pain. And they found myrcene had effects more effective than morphine, but it was in the dose of 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. And there are, in fact, big pharma products available that do have high, I mean, myrcene is like the main ingredient, it is the active ingredient in that pharmaceutical product, but it is nowhere near the ratio needed to be effective as a painkiller, and also to have that analgesic and healing effect. But yeah, so you need to contain, like, thousands of milligrams of myrcene. But then also, like, when it turns into cannabis ingestion, are they analyzing this through, like, ingestion through eating stuff or smoking? Because smoking is very, very different. Like, when they're comparing data and science and, like, terpene reference, the terpenes, like we just said, I think they do have a different effect on the human body and the brain, depending on whether they're ingested as food nutrition or whether they're inhaled as brain nutrition. That's what I
like to consume some cannabis with me right now. Very, Ted's giving you huge props, and yeah, that's why I'm glad you're sharing. You know what I mean? You're very passionate about cannabis, and that's one of the things I was trying to kind of highlight there is how, because it's deep with you. So I don't, to say that you're here just for your growability would be silly. That's basically why I asked. So Gail says you need a cookie. Could that be true? She's too.
Oh, that shit makes me go to sleep. Oh, I got to show you this. I got to show you this stuff.
Cheers, everybody in chat. How you guys doing this evening? Please, if you have not already, wish Miss Truth420 a happy birthday in chat, her IG, or however you can reach her, please. What you showing us? What you got?
So this is probably the best. I put this, apart from this cake I made. That's another story I'm not going to go into right now. I made this cake one time. That shit was hilarious. But this is cocoa I got from, like, the funniest lady on the planet. I love the lady, Magic Weed Fairy. I got some of this for her. I'm kind of ashamed I still have some left because it's so good. I guess I didn't want to. I was, like, saving it or something. I don't know, but I got enough for like 1 cup left. And it's cocoa mix, and it's 200 milligrams for every 2 tablespoons. Wait, 300 milligrams for 2 tablespoons. And when I take like edibles, I like to kick. So like and it's really accurate. So like 6 tablespoons, if you make it like a thick chocolate soup, that's 900 milligrams. And within like an hour, I get the nice dizzy, and I just feel really happy, and I have a really good sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, I make myself like a huge breakfast, like without fail. So good. And I drink a shit ton of Swiss Miss anyway. Marshmallow Swiss Miss. I drink a lot of that. So, I mean, it's perfect. It's really good. But I don't microdose with the edibles. I either take 1,000 milligrams or nothing. I ain't got time to fuck around with that stuff. It's expensive if it's not going to do nothing. 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams, 30, I don't know. I mean, they say it has like benefits in microdose, but if I already have so much THC and stuff in my system, I don't really see the point. Oh, and then I just proved myself again. Because when you eat it, it's different than smoking it.
Cheers. There are many happy birthdays in chat for you.
Hey, thank you. 35. Fuck.
So I guess if you'd like to kind of go on a little bit of why you're, the rabbit hole with terpenes that you're in right now. You kind of mentioned in the beginning that you were interested in, the evolution of the cannabinoid with terpenes with cannabis, right? How they've changed over the years. Do you think that the terpene profiles have changed a lot over the years? Would you think there was a lot more singularity back in the earlier days with cannabis? Everything was more distinctive. You think we're having more towards a bland, harder to, pick out the individual terpene profiles these days? What are your thoughts on?
Well, that's something I can only gauge from how much experience I have with it and what I know so far. I guess that kind of goes without saying, but in terms of like the way things have evolved, so I mean, there's been so much genetic preservation over the years, but definitely the way things evolve. But I mean, is it even been given the opportunity to fully evolve properly in its environment over the last however many decades? I mean, even when it was farmed as hemp, the first American flag was made of hemp. But yeah, so has it been allowed to evolve? I don't know if evolution even occurs in a sterile environment. No, it doesn't. Has it been allowed to evolve even out here in the wild in Humboldt? I mean, to an extent. I mean, it's got a steady environment, but is that really even evolution? Because if you think about it in terms of like maybe other plants, other fruits, or let me see how much battery my phone has. We're okay. In terms of like other plants and stuff or fruits, whatever, it's like the way we're cultivating them now. Mass producing. I mean, there's different. Actually, yeah, that is still relative. Yeah, mass producing like fruits and vegetables. I mean, they're not evolving in their natural environment either. And I'm pretty sure everyone's united in the idea that everything's lost its flavor, it's losing its taste, it's losing its color. But then again, that's not necessarily due to just evolution. There's a lot of other factors to take into that. But I think it has affected it. I think we've probably reached a stalemate, and I hope it doesn't get to the point where we've kind of stagnated or kind of like halted its evolution to the point that our brains are going to require more than what the plant can provide in terms of relief, especially when it comes to corporate cannabis, mass-produced cannabis. When we think about like mass-produced fruits and vegetables and stuff too, it's like it's all fed with we've got all this glyphosate is it glyphosate? It's glyphosate in the soil. We're using like pesticides to like destroy all but one of the plant's defense systems when we apply them. It destroys like the immune systems of like whatever crop you're growing, and when it comes into contact with it, soil health is huge. We're applying fertilizers, we're just adding more stuff, then it fades away, and then we add more stuff, and then we need to add more stuff to it instead of, as everybody here probably already knows, instead of like harnessing the powers of regenerative farming and trying to just mimic nature as things would evolve naturally. So big farm, I mean, what are they doing? Similar things to the weed, right? Like they're spraying like way too much pesticides. They're adding fake this, they're adding fake that. It is in a sterile environment. And it, you know, they are choosing strains specifically for high yield, quick turnover, flavor stuff, you know, like they're selective when it comes to tomatoes or apples. They want to choose stuff that keeps its color longer, that lasts longer in transit, that's sugary sweet. But where's the nutrition prioritization in this? It's not there. And what's the fucking point of eating food in the first place if it ain't nutritional? There's Regenerative Farmer. I love to watch the work of Gabe Brown Farms. Follow that guy. Wow, what an amazing soul. And like on his farm, he hasn't used artificial, or I think he's even used any pesticides or fertilizers on his farm in 19 years. And what was I talking about there now? Oh, I was getting to a good point there. It's gone. Oh yeah, something to do with the. Oh yeah. He gave this seminar that's on YouTube, and the seminar was a few years ago, and I thought the product he was referring to it had been available in the market by now. But he developed a product that's supposed to be in the testing phase a couple of years ago that would scan a fruit or vegetable and tell you the nutrition density of it. And they did studies and they tested the nutritional content of food on like supermarket shelves compared to the nutritional content of these same foods, fruits, vegetables, and meat available in the 40s. And they found nutritional content declined by up to 70%. So you would have to consume 3 times the fruit and vegetables you would have to based on the 40s. And I don't think any nutritional data available in the market. I'm not sure like what they base their nutritional content data on when we are advising people medicinally about how much they should be consuming of this kind of fruit or vegetables, or what you need to not eat in your diet, or what you do need to eat in your diet, or compensate other nutritional things. Say if you have to cut things out in your diet, maybe you're still subjecting yourself to malnutrition because we're not consuming things in the right quantities because they're not nutrition dense enough. So I think it's significant to know not what you're eating, but where the hell it came from and what the hell was put into it, exactly the same as weed. So has it evolved? Is it evolving at this point? I'm not too sure. I almost want to say no, but it's a good question. I'd have to think about that.
What are some of your favorite strains currently? What are your favorite terps?
Favorite terps. Oh, favorite terp number 1, myrcene. There was a lady who used to be in chat a lot. She was pretty cool, Miss Myrcene. I don't know really what she's doing now, but like I can understand why she like chose to name herself. I mean, maybe it had other reasons, but it is whatever. It's a great terpene. It enhances the high of everything it touches in my mind because it increases the relay across the blood-brain barrier. So basically, it just increases the high. It enhances everything. The metabolic rate of your system's reaction to the weed, and it prolongs the high. Mango Kush is still, mangoes contain so much myrcene. It really prolongs the high. Everything I've had that's mango, it's like I've been solid stoned for like like days on that stuff. It's really good. So wait, you said one of my favorite terpenes? Was that the question? Favorite strains and terpenes?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So then also like I love the cheesy. I love the cheese. I'm not sure. Actually, I wish I did know, but I'm not sure of the terpene structure in that. If I thought about it, I could probably figure that out. I'm not sure what the terp makes the gas. I really wish I knew that, or the funky skunk, but the cheese. The cheese is just like a skunk pheno, but it's super distinctive. And then I love Face Off, but they're all just the gassy, like Face Off, Mac 1 LSS. I love SFB OG. I like Ultraviolet OG. I like Ultraviolet OG. Face Off. Kosher is another one of my favorites. I love Kosher OG. I even smoke Kosher Tangy, and I don't like Tangy. I've smoked a lot of Tangy. I love the smell of it. Love the smell and the taste. Wow, super distinctive. But even Kosher Tangy still kicked. I still enjoyed that. Kosher crosses, like, they always kick. Same as Face Off crosses. Face Off's in a lot. Doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. Or maybe it did years ago, and I just kind of missed that. So the cheese, so the skunks, so the Face Offs, the God's Gift, obviously. I've had really good experiences. God's Gift. I do like some cookies crosses, like the Nightmare cookies. I love the animal cookies. Oh, well, I like Menda Breath a lot, but I'd say probably the six first ones I mentioned. Obviously, like the White Widow, kind of for sentimental reasons too. But wow, that's a really good stone too when it's done right, kind of really distinctive. But I guess in terms of terpenes and like smell and stuff like that, you know, I don't care if it smells like fruit. I don't or candy or whatever. Basically, I like the kind of skunk, the funk, the gas. If it smells, the stronger and more offensive it is, it's good. I don't like the sour though. I don't like the sour. I don't like the chemical. I don't like the bitter tang. I like the round funk. But it's like there's so many words for it now too. Like people are talking about like the rotten meat terps. They're talking about the trash can terps, like the armpit terps, like the beer drag terps or whatever. It's like it's all these different names for it. It used to just be like skunk in my mind. But you know, the more you smoke, the more you develop the palate for that kind of stuff. But usually just the gas skunk strains. And a sweet taste to it is nice. I don't really necessarily want to taste skunk when I smoke it. So I guess I like the super funky, terrible smells, but I like it to taste sweet. It smells like a skunk and it tastes like bubblegum. I'm there. Yeah.
It's a pretty tough combo right there. I don't know. I like that for me. I like the skunk taste like a skunk myself. That's the one that fucking makes me giggly as hell. That's the one that you can't control the laughter. It kind of just rolls. One everybody kind of looks for. So you know what I mean? Yeah.
You want it to taste like a skunk, really? Because taste is something secondary to me. I don't even really analyze it. I'm always about the nose. Like people say, what does it taste like? I have to really think about it, and I'm way better at finding a nose and a taste. And I wonder if maybe I do like that.
Don't think they two correlate necessarily.
Yes.
Yes. They have to, don't they? I mean, if I get something that smells like berries, goddamn it, I want it to taste like berries while I'm smoking it.
Well, I mean, maybe I'm still tasting the skunk stuff, but I just can't tell because my nose is already full of it because I'm smoking it. But I like that sweet edge to it. Maybe that's where I'm at. But nah, I gotta say I like sweet taste. I don't particularly, I don't like the overwhelm. I mean, I don't hate on it. It's not like, oh my God, that tastes like a skunk. I'm not smoking it. I mean, I'm still happy if it smells like that. Definitely still happy if it's, and like, I mean, you don't want like nothing.
You wouldn't tough it out for a good high.
It's not even toughing it out. I'm not exactly like offended by like I don't dislike it. I just like that taste. I mean, but at the same time, like it's not a flavor you'd actively seek out. You know what I mean? It's like if I have the choice, I'd rather have it taste sweet. But I want it to kick and I want it to be the skunk funk. Maybe that's like a strain preference to have. But you get that, right? Like on the blueberry or like the lemon. No, maybe I shouldn't hate on the fruit terp so much. I guess I hate on them. Maybe I do enjoy them. Maybe I hate on them because usually the high smell or taste is it sacrifice of the potency, or it's sacrifice of maybe other terps that I like. Maybe it's just more challenging to have both going on at the same time.
You really think that's true? That if the higher the true profile, the lesser the buzz?
No, not at all. Not at all, not always. But in some cases, in strains that are specific, especially new ones that are specifically like, oh, I want it to smell like apples. Apples. So I'm just gonna cross stuff that smells like apples, and then a high actually comes secondary because they're all about the smell and the taste and the bag appeal. Not saying it's not there. I mean, it can be, but I feel like that's a big difference between a low end and a high end white market product. It's all about the THC that's up, right? But it's not just about having the THC that's up, because the strain can almost do that on itself. If you go to good genetics, it's about having the THC and that on point terp profile, that true phenotype expression. Wonder Bread is a brand that does that amazingly. I've had Terpene on pineapple, Terpene on blueberry. It's like they almost look like fruit too. I mean, it's the devil in disguise, whatever. They're $70 eights, but they come in this little box. It looks like cologne. It's a classy kind of gift type weed, but wow, the smell and the taste and the look is on point. On point. The pineapple was just like, wow, that smells like pineapple as soon as you open it up. Blueberry was like, whoa, that smells like blueberries. As soon as you open it up, wow, that tastes like blueberries. Like, so strong. Very impressive. I have a lot of berry stuff that's like a little bit there. Is it there? And it's in the smell, but it's not quite there on the taste. And sometimes it isn't even really there on the smell. Structure, again, sometimes sacrifices the result. That's when you get it in like the 25 sacks that you can't see through.
All right, man. Trying to keep up with you in chat there. Oh,
No, I can't see it. I've not got it on.
good. I don't think necessarily bud structure is a huge indicator of effect. You know what I mean? I think that's more along the lines of because you can push density. There's naturally dense buds, but you as a grower can do things to make your buds more dense, and but doesn't
Tell
necessarily make.
Tell me more. How what's more dense?
Well, there's lots of sweeteners and products on growth hormones, stuff. There's definitely ways you can make your buds more dense, but that again, I don't think that has anything to do with making a more quality of bud in any kind of way. I think it's just a more greedy, more greed. I don't necessarily if it's a naturally dense bud, maybe that has something to do with it, but that's more or less again just something I look for greedily. I've thrown away a lot of great strains that just were a pain in the ass to trim or loose. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, tough indicator of what to keep and what not to keep. I think that's more consumer wants to see that dense rock hard bud, and so does more or less. So does the guy that's flipping it too. You know what I mean? They want a more dense product for weight purposes, I would think. I don't know.
No, so I agree with everything you said. And yeah, I feel like everything I've grown so far actually has got cookies in it. Somewhere. And I guess in a way over the last few years, density has become synonymous with quality for me here. But that wasn't true back home. And you're right, you can get like hella frost on those looser structures. Obviously, like Gorilla Glue's got the looser structure, and then like those hazy ones, or those like stretchy sativa type ones do have that looser structure, but still hella less sparkly. But also like when you're someone on a budget, like that cookie stuff, like it expands. Like when you grind it up too, it kind of puffs up and like it goes far too. Like I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of used to that. And it is something I look for personally. That I guess isn't exactly synonymous fully, but it's definitely when I'm aiming to grow my best weed, density is definitely important to me.
So where did your journey start off with the grow? How did it start? In what medium? What light? Where do you start when it comes to growing?
Well, I spent a year getting my stuff, and I slowly just bought stuff on Amazon. So first thing I got was a 4x4. I got a Spider Farmer 2000. I got eventually, this isn't in order. I got a Vortex 4-inch fan, which I connected to my carbon filter. I can't remember what my carbon filter is. I just got that on Amazon. It's not, I don't think it's AC. Can't remember. They aren't even that expensive, if I remember correctly. Something like between $20 and $40 or something. Then obviously like ducting, and then all the accessories that I like. But that's fun, is like buying all the little stuff that goes with it. But I guess the smaller things came after I started growing, and then I slowly figured out like what little things I needed. And then I'm kind of embarrassed to say. Also, like I went organic soil. I'm still using up all that stuff, but that's because I was listening to your show. I listened to your show so much over the last 2.5 years, but it was listening to you and Smiley, and you guys were talking a lot about organic. I was done with like the political idea of it, and I wanted to try that out. So I went into organic and soil. At this point in my grow, I enjoy cocoa, I enjoy perlite, and I'm still using organic because I got to use up all the stuff I got. But so I did that, got the soil, pots. I just slowly just got everything. And then the clones just kind of happened when my weed guy was like, I've got some, I can give you some. And I was like, okay, I guess it's time to grow. And that was last June.
I like the way that, yeah, I guess I'll just grow. I guess that is an ingenious way to kind of get somebody going there. Just kind of drop some plants on their doorstep and go, all right, well, I guess I got to do this.
Yeah. Kind of like life. We just need to push. Sometimes you need to push for sure. Roll with it. Yeah.
So how do you like growing so far? Is it that's something too, I think people at some point are gonna try to give up the cannabis growing dream because it may be easier. They think it may be easier as price drops to just buy it. As you talked about earlier, it's kind of nicer to know where it comes from, how it's produced, and feel good about what you're smoking. Do you think more and more people should stay on the growing side of things, or do you think that how up until last week, the first time I stepped into this bowl, and I don't even think price. Hey, yeah, I wasn't satisfied with what I seen or what I consumed out of there, so I think I would stay. Do you think it's worth it for the people that want to have quality cannabis to go through the effort?
Yes, I think so. I think it's important to be able to grow your own stuff, just like with food or anything else, especially environmental decline, over privatization and narrowing of big corporations that are essentially controlling the food supply and everything around us. I think it's important to just keep that shit alive and real and available to yourself. And that's one thing too, is like you can't digitize putting your hands in the dirt. And in a way, it's kind of like it's a defense to nature, right? Because what have we got without dirt? Not much. You kind of need dirt for everything, right? Stuff doesn't grow. It's kind of simple.
So, as we've talked about cannabis as a medicine, how do you feel about cultivation and cannabis as a medicine?
Cannabis
value there.
Cannabis cultivation is medicine. Well, yeah, especially in terms of like eventually affordability, and knowing what works for you. And, you know, stuff like I kind of said that is true to pheno and is on point and does have those identifiable and trace and potent enough terpene profiles to be effective in relation to people's different medical conditions, brain chemistries, etc. It's like, it's definitely important because, I mean, do you really want to be paying $50 for your meds? Like, I mean, if it's $50 an eighth, right? And if you're like me, you like smoke, I smoke an ounce a week, right? So like to me, that's $400 a month. But like another person, like say if they're not even comfortable with like buying in bulk, or maybe say they can't buy in bulk or they're not comfortable with buying on the black market. I mean, that's hundreds of dollars a week. People can't afford that, especially if it's someone who's like experiencing like symptoms that limit their ability to go to work or to function. I mean, that's a hell of a budget. So even in terms of that, I mean, the initial investment is huge, but I know that I overspent on nutrients for sure. But again, good genetics, there's a huge divide there too. Genetics is huge too. It's super important. I mean, it's the quality of what you're dealing with right there. And like the measure of your success and the measure of like whether it's actually going to give you the medicinal benefit you want. And I feel like quality of genetics is huge. And that's one thing that does kind of worry me about that and people and what is good medicine and what is good medicinal clones to give to people, because there's so many things to take into consideration other than terpene profile. I mean, this stuff's got to be easy to grow too, right? It's got to be resilient. I mean, if you have a fatigue syndrome, if you have like muscular pain or whatever kind of arthritis, inflammation, even just insomnia or just depression, if there are things that are going to knock you off your feet for a couple days at a time, your plant's going to be okay. And also maybe you're not going to be so physically able to like tend to them or prune them or like bend down and get to them all the time. Are they going to be resilient? Are they going to have issues? Like quality of genetics is huge when it's medicinal rather than recreational or just hobbyist. And I think it's important for that stuff to hopefully be affordable to people. But as I see like dilution of genetics on the market, I see that divide broadening, and those genetics that are tested well for years, established, stabilized, good medicine, the right thing for the right person, what they're looking for, that's getting very expensive. And are these people going to be able to take their own clones? It's growing from seed all the time. I mean, is that going to be expensive too? I mean, making your own seeds is possible in a small space. I've learned a little bit about that, which is super interesting. But like, it's a kind of an intricate process, and all people are going to be able to do that too. So not only is there going to have to be like people able to be liberated and to have the option to grow weed for themselves, there also needs to be some kind of like good provision, good honest service available to them too, so they can keep it going. So it's important, but it's important for like caregivers to exist there too. Very important, even if you are an independent grower.
I agree. Genetics, I think, is a funny thing too, right there. You say quality genetics. I think right now that's something that's going to be harder and harder to find as people want to just jump into the market and make a quick buck. I think too much ingredients have too much dictate genetics these days. And as you're chasing hype times hype, your terpene profiles are most certainly going to be the same at some point. Everything's going to kind of gray out at some point, because of hype times hype. I think we won't see quality genetics until we kind of see quality breeders kind of forgetting, you know what I mean, standing by their own genetics and putting forth quality genetics. This is a product that I've worked fucking 5 years on. I've taken it as far as, well, quite a few ways down the line. I feel it's pretty presentable to the public, and I'm proud as fuck of this. Then you'll like, when everybody's doing that and the ingredients doesn't matter so much, or we've, you know, kind of turned a little bit blind eye to it, genetics there won't be no more standout genetics. You know what I mean? I think at some point we gotta, you know, forget about the makeup and judge the product for what it is in front of you. You know what I mean? Then the true quality genetics will be there, because at that point you have to stand by what you put. You know what I mean? You can't depend on what's, you know, you presented on the rack. You have to, you know, depend on the quality product you put forth. Nobody wants to put out forth shit, right?
Yeah. I totally agree with that, which reminds me, I actually smoked a strain called Turds a few nights ago. That was fun. But no, I totally agree with everything you said. But another factor to take into consideration that can kind of avoid that being like a total or an absolute eventuality is that it's important to also preserve those landrace strains, those original genetics. So whatever we want can be rebred if we want to and still be true. So as long as we still have those original building blocks, you know, unlike other things that have way longer, like generational, thousands of years gestation rates to re-evolve, re-exist, lifetimes upon lifetimes, cannabis can react like much more quickly than that. So it's important to have those landrace strains, and it wouldn't even take that long if those genetics were solid to recreate and hopefully recreate a stable product relatively quickly because of the non-diluted genetic makeup of hopefully those original strains, I would say.
So what genetics will be next as you know, grow forth and you grow? How will you source them next? Where will you look? What will you grab next?
Well, props to like all your weed nerd people that wanted the stickers I made to kind of promo the show a little bit. I've ended up with basically a goodie bag of seeds, yay! And I'm probably gonna grow those. Yep. I mean, do you want to see them? Do you want to see which ones I'm gonna grow?
That's completely up to you. If you'd like to share, cool.
I don't know if I did or not. I don't want to put people on blast. I don't want to be put on blast, but
it's completely your hour. We're supposed to be talking about what you want instead of letting me kind of ask questions. I've asked more questions in this one than I think I ever have.
So thank you for like making it, having like good direction and stuff. I'm happy so far. Hey, did you ask me a question?
No.
Okay.
That was what was next? What you were planning next, or what you were thinking about next?
Oh yeah, that's right. So well, thank you to Bud Kilowatt. What a character, what a legend. He gave me some pussy pocket higher run, so I'm excited to, oh shit, not pussy pocket fizzy. Yeah, pocket fizzy. So I'm gonna grow that. Modern epigenetics, super talented lady, super good at branding, very unique artistic branding, mad respect, and very quality stuff that looks like it thrives indoor and outdoor. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. And I got a couple of seeds off our friend Jack Greenstock, and there were some like stabilized F2s. I can't remember if it was that Velvet Punch he talked about, or if that's just stuck in my head because I had a brief conversation with him about it. But I'm excited to grow that. And then I have some other seeds now too. what a legend too. He sent me a couple of immunization seeds, and to be honest, I wouldn't have like prioritized that over something that maybe had more sentimental reason or something that I knew I wanted to smoke. But when I was in San Diego, I did pot some plants, and one of them was an Amy Aces, and the nodal spacing and the leaf structure on it was super impressive. So, and I'm really into like indicas all the way, indica. So I think I might grow some of that. I don't know, but this would actually be my first time from seed. And at this point in time, I'm enjoying just, at this point, I mean, that's going to be a while off, hopefully. Not too long off, but it's going to be a few grows off, because right now I'm trying to establish perpetual grow for the first time and keeping my own clones going, keeping that supply going. So that's my focus right now. So seeds are not in my picture. They're not in my rotation. I don't have the space to have them going on right now. But having that stuff in the bank is super fun. And then when it does come time to grow from seed, I think rather than go straight to the seeds that I was given, I think I will choose some strains that I like, but just practice on those first. Especially because I know what they're supposed to be like too. So I can be like, okay, I got this on point, but this wasn't on point. It smokes like this, so I need to try and make it more like this next time. So that's going to be cool growing from seed, because so far I haven't had any choice in what I've grown. I've just taken what I've been given by my old Connect, Mad Props, just the best dealer ever. Like, he was, I don't want to call him that, caregiver ever. Like, he would always be there, like within 2 hours, always super stable, like the same weed every time, super good, super nice person, super nice wife. Yeah, I could like say more about him, but I'm not going to. But just like super amazing, and he's given me all the clones I've had so far. He actually just moved out of state. Before he moved out, all I've grown is I've grown peanut butter breath and Skittles cubed, Skittles cubed, and this time I've got peanut butter and Slurdy 3. Slurdy 3 is like a Slurkin cross. Peanut butter is Mendo breath, and I think it's Face Off, which is probably what I mean. And such nice smoke, like, and the pictures of the clones he had that he gave me were just like, wow, so, just amazing, like super dense, dripping with frost, like they look like silver. Leaf structure was amazing too. Oh, good night, Andy. Have a nice night. And where was I going with that? Yeah, so he's just giving me these clones. It's just what he had at the time. He needed to offload some, and I took him. So yeah, I haven't really had a say in the matter, but this is the third time I've grown peanut butter breath. So I'm pretty good with that one. I know what it's supposed to look like. But the other strains, I just know what they smoke like. So it's going to be fun getting to familiarize myself with those strains. Like I said, like the cheese, like the kosher. Oh wait, I think kosher is cut only, but I don't know. I guess like the skunk cheese, the Face Off, the SFB, the God's Gift, the Ultraviolet OG. You know, I'd like to grow some of those from seed for sure. Mango Kush. Yeah, I'd love to grow some of that too. White Widow, like to grow some of that too. Honey Monster Mastodon, I'd love to grow that. I've never heard of it over here though. Never heard of those strains over here, but I can get whatever, allegedly whatever I want sent over from Scotland or whatever. And like I said, they're 2 hours from Amsterdam. So I also, like, I can choose like seeds from there pretty easily too. I can send stuff, whatever, like they can get stuff too. If they wanted stuff, they could get stuff from here too if they wanted. So that's cool. I might get a couple Sensi strains and do those. Now it's a while off till I'm going to try and get good at perpetual, take my own clones and getting to know the Slurdy 3. Wow, it grows fast though. Big, strong, and fast. And I've been vegging these things for so long. God, I can't wait to flip them back, but that's probably like a week off, maybe a little less. I'm gonna give them a week though. Then I'm gonna flip them and get my next set of clones going.
In the long term, do you see yourself stepping up to a room at one point? Growing can be quite the addiction as you as you get deeper and deeper at each cycle.
It kind of depends in terms of the environment, right? Because one thing I've noticed around here is I have a room in my apartment I got my 4x4 and my 2x4 in the same room. But I like having the tents there because it's way easier to regulate the environment, because the environment within this room does fluctuate a lot. So I guess that's a lot to do with location, it's the type of the building, how much control you have over the infrastructure of it, what kind of like materials you have, in terms of like humidity control, lighting, airflow, these kind of. Hopefully I want to take my skills back to Scotland when cannabis becomes legal and try and be a boss over there. That's the plan. I'm trying because I lived a whole life over there and I love it back there. And I mean, I got a lot of terrible memories, I got a lot of beautiful memories, but I come from a very small family, but I have one or two family members over there too that I really need to spend time with. So being able to go over there and like I said, come back around circle with like some kind of I consider myself weed college. Humboldt is like free weed college. I feel like I learn way more just being here than I could ever do in a college degree. And experience speaks for itself, I think, with the hands-on art, like growing. So yeah, I'm pretty confident about doing that eventually one day if the world is still spinning the way it's supposed to, going back there and doing that, but still having a foot in California. I love California. Huge piece of my heart's here. So if I could have something going over here and over there, that would be like a dream come true. So a room, yeah, I'm hopefully I've got more than a room one day, but right now, no, I'm still playing the long game. I want to get good at everything slowly and then drop. You know what I mean? That's kind of my plan.
Would you ever think to just stepping outdoors since you are in Cali? I mean, in the intermittent phase, since are thinking about go or you do plan to go back at some point?
Yeah, do you mean outdoor in California?
Yeah.
You mean working on someone else's grow or my own grow?
Or your own, yeah. Either or, I guess.
It's actually funny. My family does have land. We have just over 40 acres in Oregon. Obviously, won't say where, whatever, but it is in good growing location. But again, that's something I couldn't really do with my family. But at the same time, that may even be an optional direction because, I'm not I have a friend over here who his family have land in Stoham, southern Humboldt, couple hours south to here, and he tried a small patch of land in the middle of a lot of stuff. And the weed business has only been legal for so long. These farmers have been here a long time. It's still, you shoot your guns off around your land. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different people, a lot of different motivations going on. Fuck Mexicans, Russians, Bulgarians, the Nortes, there's the bikers, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And he tried to go and claim his land. They went down with their truck, they came back and it was full of fucking bullet holes because they couldn't fucking defend their shit. So it's a territorial thing. Do I want to grow here? I don't know. No, I actually definitely don't. People know me here and no, it's not really there. Maybe in SoCal, but no, if I was doing growing on a mass scale, I don't feel. But in terms of regenerative farming practice and examination of the plant, I would do outdoor, but I wouldn't do it on scale. If I was to do scale, it'd be indoor, I think. That's what I see myself doing. That's what I want to specialize in, especially because in Scotland, we do not have an ideal climate for growing. It's cold, it's windy, it's wet, tiny little cold island in the sea, So yeah.
Has your time as being a trimmer made you more critical of the cannabis that you do kind of take in?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Every way.
So, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, seeing so many different strains back to back. and trimming them, and you look at it in a different way too, right? Because when you get it from the dispo, when you get the good stuff from the dispo, it's kind of like the way it's supposed to be, or it's the way they want you to get it. But when you're trimming, you see weed in all kinds of different states and conditions, particularly in black market trimming. I mean, no crop's perfect, and you're trimming all of it, if it can be trimmed, it's all money. So like you trim all kinds of structures, you trim all kinds of like stages in your grow. You trim stuff that's been seeded, you trim stuff that's been molded, you trim stuff that's not been stored properly, you trim stuff that's been stored for too long, you trim stuff that got way too hot, stuff that got way too damp. You see all the different kinds of mold, also density and structure too. If it's not there, if it's all leaf and it's fuck, what do? You just leave this way, just trying to trim the leaf into the shape of a nug and just hope it stays on the stem, you know what I mean? So like you see all that kind of stuff, and you definitely get an idea for quality, and you get an idea for what's going on with this grower and how the fuck did his weed end up like this, so it kind of gives you like that kind of gives you that line of causation and familiarity, and opens up the door, because it's a science. It's literally a science, and it's also like a kind of alien world to a lot of people, right? Because it's hands in the dirt, it's not on an iPad, so it takes a minute to kind of go down that route, and trimming definitely takes you there. And you can put your headphones in, listen to whatever you want, listen to the podcast. Like my friend Melissa's here. I don't know if she's still listening. Melissa, if you're listening, come talk for a minute. Melissa, if you're listening, come talk for a minute, because I'm talking too much and my phone's probably going to die soon. But what was I going to say? Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, you can wear your headphones and listen to whatever you want. You can educate yourself on whatever you want. You want to do a part-time college course? Cool. Put a dictaphone on your tutor's desk and listen to that shit on repeat whilst you're trimming. You know what I mean? You get to do whatever the hell you want, basically, like through your headphones for hours a day.
You're funny. You're funny. I don't know how you can talk too much on your own episode.
Maybe.
Somebody, please. You can't. Oh, so fun.
What time is it?
It is almost 2:00 my time.
Oh, your time. Oh shit. Okay. So wait. Take away 3, 11, 8, 9, 10. 2.5. Okay. That's how long we've been talking. 2.5 hours.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty good amount of time. When do you want to wrap up? Do we still have more to talk about? Could we do another show? I don't know. I feel like I could keep talking forever, but I don't know if it's too long or too short. And my phone battery is at 10%. Maybe a little less.
All things that are up to you. That's why I go over that in the prelims. Time, length, subject, completely up to the guest.
Is my video being really dark?
It is a little bit dark since you closed the tent there. Yeah.
When did I close the tent? When did I do that?
Pretty early on. Yeah, about midway. About midway, you closed the tent.
I could also wait. There we go. What time went though? Yeah, that's much better. I should have done that from the beginning, because I'm facing my 4x4. It's really easy for me to open the window, and this one's the 2 behind me. I should have thought that before we started. My bad.
So this is your birthday episode. I don't know. I don't know how much of. I feel lucky enough that you've decided to give us some time on your birthday, much less how long you take up of it.
No, it's been my pleasure. It's fun. I usually work on my birthday. Never. It's just birthdays, whatever. It's another day. It's just time. It is what it is. But it's definitely nice when people like want to celebrate it. And this is exactly what I wanted to do. I had a couple. Well, my friend Melissa, I guess they're sleeping there. I'm going to go knock on her door in a second. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe another time. I guess we don't have too much time left. But I usually work on my birthday, and they were like, "Do you want to go out for dinner? What you want to do?" And I was like, "No, I'm good. I just had a really good rest. I've got to work tomorrow. I start work at I don't start work till 8:30 tomorrow. So that's fine. As long as I get like 6 hours, I'm good. But no, this is exactly what I wanted to do. It's perfect. I got given a bunch of weed. I saw some good people. I'm super happy. So I'm good. Thank you. Pretty stoned right now too. I don't know, because I've been mixing these 3 different kinds, and I don't normally do that. Guess that makes it more effective or stronger or something. And it's the hydro too. And this stuff's 34%, 34.4% THC.
So I guess how much do you think does that have any value to it? You know, I don't think necessarily that THC value it doesn't draw me in any. I don't think it gets it any higher, to be honest with you. I think it's more of a sticker value thing these days. In fact, I think the further we go towards that way, I think we're taking away from the medicine itself.
I agree with everything you said, but there's also something else that. Hold on to that. You're probably gonna have to ask me that again. I'm gonna try and charge this up because even if it does run out pretty soon, I don't want it to run out in an awkward moment or mid-speech, because that would be shitty. See if I can stand this up. No. Is there a way I can make the screen sideways?
Usually when you flip your phone sideways, it makes it wider. Druzilla says, stoned on this show as a guest? Never.
Right, I'm gonna try flipping it.
Right on.
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes is your portrait the view thing there locked? Sometimes it switches, sometimes it doesn't.
Am I switched?
No, you're sideways.
Okay. All right. Ignore me for a second. I'm going to try and figure this out.
Sometimes you gotta hit the portrait where there's a lock sometimes.
Meetings, setting.
There you go. Thank you. The auto rotate, is it on or off?
Damn. I don't know about this. I don't know about this right now. Hold on, I've got an idea though.
Okay.
Okay, my phone's literally balanced in a quarter pound of weed right now. But it's working. It's kind of like, because it's the phone charger's at the bottom of the phone charger thing is at the bottom of the phone. But if it's in a big pile of weed, it's like the weed shapes around the charger. Before I had it piled up on a pile of books, and it was slip slap sliding, but it's straight now, so we're good. Yay. Oh, what was the question?
I got squirreled. I'm squirreled on the question.
Oh, I remember what it was. It was THC content.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, so a big part of why I smoke weed is for appetite. Huge, almost number one. In fact, it's tied with sleep. And I have heard that THC content is related to the munchies. Looked it up a couple times. Tell me if I'm wrong. I could be. But I also know that you're totally right about the terpene profile being the quality of the stone and the high. Because if you look at terpene effectivity and the entourage effect, a lot of things have their optimum cataclysmic effect. It doesn't matter if things are in high or low quantities, it's the relative ratio. their relative micro composition, like the way they interact at lower doses, but the ratio of interaction makes the quality of the high. So I totally agree with what you said, but THC definitely does have effect on some of the I don't know I can't remember the word for it, physical manifestation symptoms of the high, like the munchies. I think it might give you the giggles too. I think it's the cerebral. I think it's the uplift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
Wait. That's so funny. I was about to shut that tent too because I hate my plant smell and smoke. I was about to just go shut that tent and make it dark again because I fucking hate smoking in here.
I think that's a myth. I really do. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, for real, what's the difference other lightly than your breath of being in the room with a little bit of cannabis in there? You think
I
this?
don't know. How can you be like the king of terpenes and then say, smoke exposure is nothing? You know what I mean? In terms of like plant reactions, what it's going to do to the surface of the bud, like stress reaction.
Pressure, I could see that. But if, once in a while when you're de-leafing and, consuming a little bit, it's all part of the process, I think. There's nothing wrong with, smoking one kind of in that Zen moment and your girl's over. I don't
well, I agree with that to an extent, obviously, because I'm smoking right now. So, I'm trying it out. It's good to try out things. I think they'll be fine. They got all kinds of fans going on right now too, because I'm relying on passive. I got my intake, outtake in my window, and then I just got a bunch of fans going in there and big ass passive ducting. You're still on veg, so I really struggled to keep my humidity up when I was running my my carbon filter, my extractor factor, extractor fan at the same time, and I was like, well, I'll just turn it off and see what happens, and it kept my humidity up between 5 and 10%, which was enough to be good for me, like be significant enough for me to be happy with it and be worthwhile turning it off. Less electricity too. But when I feel going to fire, obviously I'm going to turn that bitch back on. Yeah. But
So,
I think it'll be fine.
well, if you could improve your game right now, as equipment wise, what would you think your first thing would be?
Crank up the lighting.
Yeah.
Equipment wise, let me think about that. I'd crank up the lighting. I'd like to get, I don't have an EC pin. I got my pH pin. That again was actually a gift from Bud. Bud and I talked for a long time. We kind of were going through some stuff at the same time. We talked each other's asses off for a minute, and then he took me to a concert, and he was just a homie, and he hooked up with a couple things. He got me a few bags of dirt, big old bags of dirt, pH pen, a few seeds. Yeah, solid. So he got me this cool pH pen. So up until a couple months ago, I was just using the strips. I was just using the pH, all my grows, I just used the liquid, but so much easier in the pen. So yeah, it'd be really interesting getting an EC pen, mostly because I'm pretty sure it's pretty fucking high, because I got to use a lot of pH up when I mix my stuff, and I know I probably could put a lot more stuff in there than I need to, but to be honest, I just like playing potions. I like putting a little bit of lots of different stuff in there. Maybe I shouldn't, but I like seeing how each little thing changes my base, what I'm doing too. And my base is a little bit fine-tuned already. I've got 3-4 things that I like to use every time, and then I like to maybe try 1 or 2 other things at the same time, which might be overkill. But again, that's why I'm turning more to cocoa and perlite, because you can control it like that. You can see things straight away. You can change things straight away. You learn a lot more. So it's slower to react, but also like it's good if you need to fucking leave the house for a couple of days, you can just water it and you're good. But I think that's all I can really think of equipment right now. I mean, I got a lot of stuff. I got kitted out. I got pretty much everything I need. The first couple of grows I spent slowly putting stuff together like that. And yeah, lights in the new season. Okay. How about you? What equipment would you get right now?
Any. Fuck, I'd be happy to just play.
You just want to be growing something. I get it.
Damn, a room. A room would be the first fucking thing I'd get.
Better get things one at a time, build it up slowly.
Holy shit, a place to grow weed. I'll get the equipment. That's fucking shit. That's, yeah, a place to grow weed. That's the first thing I need. Holy shit.
We'll get it back soon though, but then again, you're going to be on the move pretty soon, I think, too. I think hopefully you've got like a busy year coming up, you know? The event thing seems fun. You don't even know what state you're going to be in next, right? Don't even know. Or do you? What we probably do is like top secret information.
It's, yeah, I don't know. I'm very optimistic about the future. Let's say that.
That's right. Best way to be, right? I mean, we talked a little bit about like life visioning, picturing yourself where you want to be, thinking back step by step, a little plan, giving yourself time frames. Monthly goals are good. But I know you're like anti-monetary investment too, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just taking a conversation the other night from Kazoo, Mr. Kazoo, trying to light a fire under my ass about, you know, opening up a little bit in that aspect. I don't know why I'm so fucking stubborn. I really don't. Well, who knows?
Maybe separate like your personal values, which are super respectful, and we like the Buddhist thing too. And I think like the money system and money is not essentially like positive energy, though it's an essential energy when you need it for options. But like as a personal belief, that's a beautiful thing. But like your show is like it's almost a business entity, you know, and it's got a lot of force to it at this point. It's very high quality. You've got so much archive material, and it's like there's all these other lesser shows coming up, and they're doing that monetization. It's like we all want to see you come up. You know what I mean? Like you deserve it. And I think like you know, if people just like show support in the way they can. I mean, you've put a lot of time in this too. I mean, it's been like more than a full-time job for you for so long too. So. I mean, I get it. I mean, how much time do you want to spend thinking about this? You know, how much life can one human dedicate to? But essentially a side project, you know, it's like, I guess the main project. I'm ranting a little bit. I should let you talk, but that's what I feel. You know, I think this will be a good year. Things seem to be gathering momentum. And wait. Oh, what?
Be passionate about what you do. I think that's no matter what it is. I think you have to have that passion for whatever it is you do. And I do love everything that in cannabis that I've done, but this is probably the most proudest thing that I've done in the cannabis, you know, field or journey that I'm on. But enough about me. This isn't my episode, damn it.
Kind of is. A little bit is. All of them are
could you see yourself transitioning into a larger scale grow? Would you be happy like working for somebody else on a farm, or how would that suit? Where do you see yourself going next in your cannabis, you know, journey or leg? Where does it go next?
I mean, right now, I work full time in a kitchen right now, you know what I mean? But it's like, perfect. I did work some.
Money wasn't an object. What'd you do next?
Oh, but money was, I'd just be doing the same thing, but like times 1,000. I'm at a point fuck 35, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not a non-people person, but I work best as an individual, and I'm kind of ready to do my own thing. And that's why I think I've invested so much in this, so much time, so much just alone time too, just invested in learning about this kind of stuff because I want to do it by myself. When I go back to hopefully when Scotland legalizes, when the UK legalizes, Germany's about to legalize. Germany's about to legalize very soon, which is exciting. But and their medical system is really good too. So their research quality that will come out of there will probably they'll probably come up with some good stuff. But shit, what were we talking about?
Where would you go next, or where would you ultimately like to be cannabis? So research?
Yeah. No, I think I just want to grow my own weed, but high quality, stabilized genetics, tailored for stuff that I like in weed, that I can test and know is good, and sell it on the UK market. Yeah, that's what I would do. And hopefully still be over here, but over here doing what, I'm not sure. It's kind of nice just having an apartment on the coast. But I'd probably prefer to be in the Southern California coast than the Humboldt coast. Feel like I've learned as much as I can over here. Like I said, there's a lot of game, definitely past its golden era. And as like a single female, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't have like family considerations. I can travel pretty good. I don't have to stay put in one place. So I can kind of go where the wind blows. And I got to follow, just see where stuff takes me on this journey. But I know where my end goal is. And I know to achieve that at this point in time, all I can do is just max out knowledge and get as much hands-on experience and take a step from there. I'd like to work with someone. I wouldn't necessarily like to work for someone. So maybe that's something that will happen collaboration-wise, small, medium, large, over time. I don't know. A lot of it depends on the timeline of when it's going to be legalized in the UK. I might not have a choice but to go for someone else for a while. Depends how much collateral I build up here before that happens, as in cash.
Yeah, that's the for cannabis. Like at least Cali, I think you said it. It's past its golden era. But yeah, I guess which more interest you? I guess the emerging market over there, or there are some new frontiers here in the States, but I think the once it goes nationally legal, it's legalized nationally. I think that it's going to be another tuck and roll type scenario for cannabis here. I think it's going to be it's going to be a tough market once that happens. I think that it's going to be. I'm hoping for those small growers, but I think that's going to only be. I think there'll be hope for the smaller growers years after. I think everybody will have that hurrah. The people with money will come in. They'll throw out a few good strains, and just like we see now, people kind of throwing in their license just to the simplicity of being able to just go buy cannabis at the local store. But at some point, I think they'll get tired of the blandness, and then the craft market, they'll be demanding a craft market at that point because they'll know it's out there. You know what I mean? Remember the 1 years when cannabis used to taste good and shit like that? I think legal cannabis will be like cigarettes. I mean, I beg you to differ. You go to the cigarette or go to the store and do like a blind taste test of all the cigarettes that are on the shelf. I don't think, you know what I mean? You're going to pick out one from the other. If you're a true smoker, you might be able to pick out a higher quality of a cigarette, but it's all going to fucking taste like tobacco. You know what I mean? I don't think there's going to be this is
This has a different palette to it than the rest. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I don't know if federalization is ever even going to be able to be a thing. Maybe it will, but when interstate trade happens, there could be a bit of a lift and stuff. And like you kind of touched on before, I feel like the caregiver, I mean, it could be campaigned for the caregiver role to maybe be upheld if it was seen as a genuine medicinal practice. Like you're a doctor specializing in a certain kind of medicine, maybe it could be its own realm of like psychiatry or physicianship. Ooh, yeah, Tino. So, and then also like in terms of like people being able to grow their own medicine, it's kind of like they're going to need that caregiver to provide them with those clones or that guidance or like the help they need. You know what I mean? Oh, what is it? What are you doing?
It's a big.
No, I'm just small. He said, well, you know what? He has become a bit of a butterball, but I don't know. They're 2.5. I don't know if they're still growing or not. Maybe. I always thought they were kind of small, but I haven't weighed them in a minute. They need their vet checkup. They were like 11 pounds last time. I don't know if that's a lot or not for a cat. They're funny as fuck though. I love these cats. They're hilarious. Super different. Brothers from the same litter. They're kind of like twins, but they have total different personalities. Raise them exactly the same, taught them exactly the same stuff. One of them was the runt of the litter, though, and he's always been like a couple months behind the other one. And he's super goofy, and the other one's super smart and like emotional. But the goofball one really likes music. He really likes it. Funny watching him, but those cats are cool. Oh, so yeah, when people are like having their own on the medicinal market caregiver, I think it's still going to be essential. And I think it could be campaigned for pretty successfully. And like when interstate trade is, I mean, that's something I think will happen. Like being able to like get California weed in Colorado or like New York weed in Vegas or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure that can't happen yet, right? That's obvious. Yeah. But when it can, that could open up stuff. And then tourism too. I haven't seen the tourism market exploited or not, but then the whole licensing thing is super limiting. I mean, are there any smoke lounges in Michigan?
No, not legal ones yet.
I need to go get a Pepsi. I'll be right back.
Cheers, everybody in chat. How you guys doing? Thank you for watching. It's 222 in Michigan. Nice catch. It's a good angel number. It's a good angel number to catch. What's up, Dal?
Are there still people listening, or is it just you and me talking? I haven't looked at chat yet. God, I'm gonna look at that in the morning.
Oh, they've said a lot of good things.
Oh, good things. Okay, that works. That sounds good. That's funny. This is super surreal. So, in a good way, though.
There's still a few hanging out with us, 60 or so.
Okay. Good. What are you smoking tonight?
I've been smoking a little bit of kazoo cake.
Oh, wait, I'll be right back.
And mixing it up a little bit back and forth. I believe this was, well, there's no believe. This was some of his outdoor. Not trimmed. It's got some really nice purpling to it that you can't see. My light never works out with me on this camera for some reason. But pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
my God.
Yeah. Badass.
Medium. I got to tie a knot in the bottom, but it still looks pretty damn good. I love the colors on it. But I wanted to match. Can you see my balloon? I wanted to match my pirate balloon. Can you see it?
Again.
Yeah. I went
Pretty-
for black and white. I went for the black and white. It matches my stickers too. Your stickers.
You
I
they were
could have gone for the psychedelic.
definitely have had a lot of compliments on your design there for sure.
Yeah. And you can tell it's the original cut, right? Because of the extra G. On the But I mean, I said to you this before when I was like kind of asking for your permission or checking if I could like make some stickers for you, and it was like, oh fuck, what were we just talking about?
We were talking about, you were mentioning the slit stickers is what we were talking about.
Oh yeah, there's a spelling mistake on the sticker. I put an extra G, but I did check when you type in fucking talking shit with Eagle, it still comes out for the list of all your shows.
Nice.
So it still works. And that's like first cut, right? So you know it's real. So I don't know. I could also make more with the right spelling, but I still got a few of these left. I made 300. And last time I checked, we had them in 26 states.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. You got
And
some
country.
Texas, you got
Maybe even
Arizona,
outside the country, right?
all
Yeah.
over. I actually looked at it on a map and it's like all over. You got Colorado, you got Ohio, Texas, New York, Las Vegas, Ireland. Shout out to Meal Flower. He was really happy with stickers. And I was like, yeah, who doesn't like stickers, right? And you know, it's always getting fun. It's always fun getting mail from overseas too. God, where else? Obviously Michigan, Massachusetts, all over California. Did we Carolina, North Carolina? I can't remember the other ones right now. Oregon, Washington. Oh, that's another one.
Pretty amazing. Pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The support helps. Well, that's the what I prefer. That's all I've ever asked out of this whole thing. It's just everybody just kind of support a little bit. So
Yeah. A little bit of time, a little bit of something. Merch is fun too. It's kind of artistic. Cool.
Support means it has value. That's the way I see it. That's all I have. That's good. That's all the value I need out of it.
Yeah, so I'm happy I did it. But yeah,
You know, pretty awesome. I mean, to me, that's like a huge random act of kindness right there. I mean, never asked, whatever, but that's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah, all the way around.
for sure. And like, I'm glad I did it. Seeing Kazoo stuff was super motivating. And then like, you know, like whatever, like I was seeing like some kind of like just like random stuff happening on like on YouTube or whatever. So I was like, well, best way to I like whatever, like to do like a kind of like quote or whatever. The best way to fight hate with hate is you can't fight hate with hate. You know what I mean? Or like you can't fight like drama with drama. You got to just let that shit die and then focus on what you love or what you believe in or what you want to support, and then that will grow. You know what I mean? So I felt like it was just really good timing to show extra support for your show. Whilst there's like all this other random like stuff popping up and whatever. So I just felt like really good timing. And it was good fun for me too. I got a lot of fun doing it. Sending out the stickers, and it's like a good conversation point too. Like I've put them all over this town. And yeah, people just like ask me about them. And it's just been nice just meeting some like good people too. People are genuinely interested, and everyone seems to really like the stickers. And I guess I did try to design them like
like a skateboard sticker, like a band sticker kind of thing. It's kind of what I was going for. Something that pops. Because I can see that thing from 30 feet away. Oh, and the other thing is they're waterproof and they're outdoors durable for up to 4 years. And you can stick them and unstick them. Like I've pulled the one off my refrigerator like 40 times and it still works. So you can take it off your skate and put it on your TV. It's like glossy vinyl. It's like repetitive sticks. So that you can literally slap them on, slap them off. I don't know if that applies if you like attach it to a paper surface. I've only attached it to like solid surfaces, but yeah, it says they keep their stick on the description. They're good ones. That's good kind.
How are we doing on the battery?
I mean, it's really. I'm down to wrap it up. I feel like we've had a good one. We've talked about lots of good stuff. This means I can like jump in on Weed Nerd World from time to time if I want to like talk for a little bit. So that's cool.
Well, I'm not trying to cut it off, but I do want to make sure and go over the things that we do need to go over before it does cut off. That's for sure. One you've kind of did touch on there a little bit is yes, the Zoom link that I sent is always good for whenever you want to come hang out in the Weed Nerd World. No invitations needed at this point. It's whenever the fuck you want to come hang out. That's how invitation works. I think sometimes people forget how that works. You know, I guess sometimes people need a little poke, but for the most part, it's, you know, you want to participate for sure. So please do. Hopefully you do. I'm sure a lot of people would love to have some their opportunity to speak with you. There was a lot of she's very smart in chats, and I agree. I think you know more about this plant than you even let on for 100%. So I think you provide more answers than a lot of these people that you watch can give, to be honest with you. So
well, that's awesome. I'll definitely hop on from time to time. And thank you for teaching me everything you taught me from your show. Like I watched it at least a few times a week for 2.5 years. Sometimes all day, sometimes just like one episode. But yeah, I didn't even join in chat for like the first, I think, 6-9 months. And because I didn't really want to grow until like I was growing either, until I felt like I had something valid to say. And then I don't think I told people I was female until like 6 months ago. And then I made my profile pink. So I feel like at this point I've been growing a little bit. And then I feel like you said, like maybe my experience does have some relevance or something, you know, that people would like to listen to. So that's good. I can't remember where I was going with that, but yeah.
And then of course we cannot forget the sound bite for this here episode.
Ooh. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah.
I do record this part of the show just for simple ease. I need to work on all my organization. I'll be the first to admit, thanks to Mr. Smiley for pointing out I should record this. Otherwise I'd probably be lost in sound bites. But I'm pretty sure you know how all that goes. Episode 715 or 750. I just fucked it up. 750. Episode 50. Please put that in there somewhere. I am ready anytime you are. No.
Oh, this meeting is being recorded by the host. Okay.
That's me.
No, wait, you're the host? Yeah. All right. Hold on, let me think this through. What is it again? I should know this, but I'm blanking.
My question would be is, hey, this is Eagle, and I'm on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 750. Put whatever you want before or after, as long as that's somewhere in there. I am more than grateful.
Okay. Hey, this is Truth420, and I am on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 750.
Hell yeah. Thank you for so much. thank you for watching the show. Thank you for making the stickers, and thank you for coming on and telling your story. Like a lot of these nerds in chat should do to make my job a little easier on scheduling. I'd love to hear your guys' story as well, but this has been a fun one to hear. Thank you again. Do not forget, you're more than welcome to come hang out anytime you would like. Chat says they're tired of the sausage fest. They'd like to see more women anyway. So
I got a few other girls. Maybe I can get a couple of my girls to come on. I don't know. YouTube world isn't for everyone, but that would be cool. And thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the good things. Hopefully respectful, nice things in chat. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Eagle. Appreciate you.
appreciate you. With that being said, you guys know the deal. If this is your do not forget to do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do saves lives. With that being said, we are out of here.